Yo, what it do, Fortnite fam? Welcome to the Fortnite Champions Series. It's your boy, Zeke, and guess what time it is? It's time for the semifinals. That's right, 3 qualifier rounds, and now we are here. We're about to have 2 crazy days of Fortnite action, back-to-back semifinals today, reboot round tomorrow, and you know we had to bring the best boys in. It's Levin 2K, it's Resub, the best of the boys is around. Boys, how you guys feeling?
You know how to gas me up, man. You know how to get me excited, even beyond my excitement for the weekend we have ahead of us, right? The semi-finals, you know, everybody's trying to make their way into the finals. We've had a great couple weeks of qualifiers, but, you know, things are starting to really get serious now. Do you know what I mean? So I'm excited. I'm excited, Zeke. Thank you.
Yeah. Look, I always appreciate the hype up indeed as well. And let's be real, I think you nailed it on the head. These players are going to be nervous more than anything else. For a lot of these people, they don't want to go to the reboot round tomorrow. They want to make sure they clock their ticket straight through the finals by getting that top 6. So, look, that pressure is always super fun for us to watch, but I'm sure, you know, the players are a little bit shaky right now too.
Man, there's so much I feel like we have to talk about, and we'll get to that in just a second. First, we got to talk about the top of the show. We got to do a few housekeeping things before we can break down what we want to break down. You guys know, if you're enjoying what you're watching here, you also are like, hey, Zeke, you know what'd be cool is like having leaderboards at the same time as being able to see your guys' faces. Hey, guess what? Watch.fortnite.com. You have both of those things available to you. It's crazy. I was using it last week. It's super dope, super helpful. Check it out. Watch.fortnite.com. Okay, let's take a look at this broadcast format. Now, you guys that have been with us since the beginning, you already know you've leveled up. You ain't even worried. You're like, oh, Zeke, this? I know, you know, but remember, there's some new faces around. We got to get them up to speed. Listen, we came from qualifiers. Tomorrow, we have the reboot round. Next week, we have finals. But Levin, we're going into semifinals today.
Yes, and players were able to make it to semifinals via qualifying through the first 3 weeks of qualifiers. There were 3 crazy weeks, right? And the top teams from those weeks made it straight to finals, but the top 99 teams from the qualifying weeks were able to make it here to the semifinals. And all 99 teams have been split into 3 separate heats, right? There's 33 teams in each one. You know, Heat 1's already taken place. We'll be watching Heat 3 today. The top 6 teams in every single heat qualify through to the finals. But don't worry, right? If you're not one of the top 6 teams, there is still one more chance, right? 7th to 17th have a chance to play tomorrow in the reboot round to qualify for the finals.
Yeah, they don't want to go there though. So they want to make it through to that top 6. And across the day today, this is the point format. Again, if you've seen this through any of the round 4s, this should be very familiar to you by now. As soon as you get that top 24, you're going to start getting the placement points from there on up. So as soon as you start making your way, it gets more and more placement points all the way up until the Victory Royale, where you're going to be able to get 30 points total from there on. Eliminations also going to be worth 2 points as well. So they all add up. You'll see a good variety in teams who are performing well between balance of that placement and the elimination points too.
Of course, Resub, we can't forget, there's a surprise money on the line, and continuing the story of how I self-created the Acts of Champions, I entered the deep forests of the wilderness. I fought off crocodiles, I fought off alligators, I fought off mosquitoes and diseases and the craziness, all the secret tigers that hid in the wildlife. I brought the gold back. I forged the Acts of Champions, digitized it into Fortnite. None of this is true, by the way. But now that is how.
This week you've gone to the forest. Last week you went to Atlantis. So I don't know which one is like. Which one's been more difficult?
I'm gonna keep changing the story. It's always gonna be different. I'm gonna see how far I can get with this. So good luck, everybody else. We'll see. Hey, but you know, Acts of Champions for the trio that walks away the FNCS Trio Champion. They'll look to defend that going into the next FNCS. Now, guys, of course, we did have a moment there. We saw the 7 regions that are competing, so we get to check in, see how some of their results are. Because remember, we've got 3 separate heats going on at the exact same time, right? One is already done. For us, we'll be checking in on one, and we'll be watching another. So for all these other regions, they're already done and wrapped. We've got Asia, we've got OCE to take a look at. And we're going to take a look at the top 6 trios that have qualified. Those will be the ones going straight into finals. Here's your results coming out of heat number 1 for Asia.
Yeah, of course, Asia took place. And look, you know, these guys in first place will be happy. Desway, Strandy, Kawara, they were able to win 2 out of the 6 games and qualify through in first place. I'm sure they'll be looking to take that form into the finals as well. If you take a look at the next page, though, some familiar names, of course, up here in first place. Q-Jack, Nato, Alice. They were able to actually come first place. And Reese, this is a team who many people would expect to even be winning in FNCS. I'm surprised they didn't actually make it through the qualifier weeks, but nevertheless, they're going to be here in the finals.
Yeah, look, ex-FNCS champions, both performing very well on multiple different seasons. And look, now making their ticket through to finals too big for them. I don't think anyone's going to be surprised by that either. So the next heat as well. This one was a little bit stranger in terms of the point differentiation, being 138 at the lowest. And that final final game was so close between Seek's team and also going through AIM's team, where you can say they obviously managed to tie up, but what you can't see underneath that leaderboard is that it was super close between there as well. So this was super tense.
Yeah, 100%. Let's take a look down under though, over at Oceania, because a lot went down there as well. Sorry for Esh Raikou. They were able to win out this heat, and not a surprise to me. When I looked at this heat, you would have definitely thought these guys would make it through. And look, I'm sure they will be upset that they weren't able to make it through qualifiers once again. Nevertheless, though, they are going to be playing in the finals of OCE now, and a great performance. And if we take a look at that next page, right, this was a very interesting heat 2 of OCE, Reese. You know, those top two teams, right, accounted for 4 out of the 6 wins in this lobby. So, pure domination.
Pure domination. It's super impressive when you see teams be able to absolutely wipe the rest of the lobbies like that. And hopefully they're also going to be able to carry that performance through into the finals, which we know is obviously a much higher caliber lobby. But we also go into that next page, that final heat for the OCE region. We can see yet again another very close one between all of them. Tekmar, a lot of people know him as a content creator from that area. I don't want to just call him content creator because I'm not going to put his name down like that. He's also a pro player performing super well. He's going to be super happy to make his way through to the finals, punch his ticket in 5th, along with all the teams now, right? So the OCE region, as long as Asia, just have their reboot rounds left tomorrow to play through. So look, they nearly solidified all of the teams through going through the finals.
Oh man, the excitement is there, and now we have to do the same thing here in Europe. But also, don't forget, we got NA East, NA West later on the day. Right now, we got to touch on EU. So I mentioned before, we have one heat that is already done. So we pulled a few clips for you to get some of the essence of what Heat 1 had for us, and then we'll take a look at the 6 that are going on through.
Yeah, of course, right? With any EU heat, you're going to get some top-level gameplay, and this was the one that happened earlier in the day. Edgar and Voxy, these guys started off the day hot, right? They were able to, you know, sort of start off how they intended to finish, you'd say, right? And a great performance from them. I think they definitely will be a bit happy with how they started the day, more so, you know, how they were able to move on. I'm sure we'll get to that in terms of the standings later, but, you know, nice way to start, you know, leading the pack.
Yeah, leading the pack, just making their way in. Like you mentioned, they're going to be happy with that. Anyone who's made it through to the finals says, but Astro, Savid, and Rifla, a team who will 100% be happy with that. In particular, after, you know, when you think about Savid last season making his way through to the finals, he did make it there, but through the reboot round instead. So he's this time going to be able to make it through in this and streaming the whole thing, which was really impressive. Look, I was checking out and watching as we went.
Yeah, honestly, man, those guys. Absolutely electric. I actually got the chance to meet Astro SMZ recently, right? In person. He's a very nice guy. Happy for them. Now, moving forward, Trippy, Hottie, and Elocrats. These guys were really impressive. They ended up doing well, and they will be making it through to the final, spoiler alert, but a performance that is one to reference.
Yeah, I know Force's team here, alongside Siberia and Civitor also. You have noticed, we've mentioned it a few times right now. Force was the ex-FNCS, or the current FNCS champion from Asia, placing 2nd in their heat, punching their ticket through as well. So, big performances from them coming through, and then a fellow Russian team of Fullnet Wing and Karmi as well, who again made it. They won overall 187 points, miles ahead of the pack, to be honest with you, across everyone else, with only 1 victory royale. So, huge performance from them. And look, you can see the 1 victory royale there. Look at what set them above everyone else. 42 eliminations.
Yeah, a massive day. Congratulations to all 6 of those teams who will be competing in the FNCS finals next week. But the big thing to watch out for, especially in this heat resub, Flick and Nas Thomas, 7th place in the semi-finals of Heat 1. This is a team who is one of the, you know, all-time teams in EU, right? They've had great seasons in the past. They literally came 4th in last FNCS finals. This is a team who you would have thought they were at the peak of their powers, but no, they will be playing in the reboot round. And that is a chance for redemption, right? There is still a chance they make it through to the finals, but to see these guys playing in the reboot round, definitely a massive surprise, especially because they won game 2. So you would have thought, you know, they have the momentum. Nevertheless, though, if we take a look at that next page, there are still some more teams who are going to be making it through to reboot round. If you take a look there from 11th to 17th, all those teams will be in the reboot round tomorrow.
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly add on to that Flick and Ask Thomas HG point, where since the trio FNCS has come back in Chapter 2 Season 4, we've not seen a finals that hasn't had Dirty Dogs completely run by these guys. So if they don't make it through on the reboot round tomorrow, that's going to be a whole new dynamic to the map that a lot of these teams definitely aren't used to.
Yeah, most definitely, right?
They'll be thankful, though, let's be real.
Well, yeah, I'm sure you will be thankful, because regardless of how they've, you know, played the season, regardless of all that, when it comes to finals, they do tend to show up, especially when it's that Dirty Dots. So look, you know, a lot of teams will be happy these guys are nowhere near at the moment.
for now at the moment. You know, I like that for sure. Guys, I want to take a look at the 33 trios we'll be watching in today's heat. This is pretty crazy. I want to see, kind of pick your guys' brain, some standout trios we need to keep eyes on. Perhaps trios that you're like, I don't know how they're here, but this is scary for everyone else that's in the lobby because these guys are here.
Oh, for me, it has to be the mighty Bloomy, Pablo, and Tomzy. Big fan of these guys, and honestly, I do think that there's a big chance they qualify today. You know, great fundamentals, understand the way to play the game incredibly well. Being led by Bloomy as well is no easy feat. I'd also say MXR's trio is a great trio to watch out for. You know, who knows what happens as well with some of the other trios on this page, Reese, but definitely a good couple trios on this one.
Yep, definitely a good couple trios on that first page, but if we look over to the second page, the 12th down till my mouth is gone for the next number after that, but I'm sure it's an important one. 23, something like that. We got Kylix, William, and Lecce up at the top, a team who's multiply conned up in their drop spot with Wolfies, Moran, and Milan. There's actually, if you notice in that first page, 2 Milans, and they're dropping next to each other. 2 Milans of EU fighting up against, which is an interesting little battle that we're going to see off the spot there.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to it. But let's take a look at this last page, because this one, to me, I could see almost the whole top 6 being formed of trios just on this page alone. Not even gonna lie. So we'll take a look at some of these runs, right? Bobby, Versafly. This is going to be a huge trio to watch out for today. We'll talk more about them later. Safik, Default, Puchik, much more the same. Wolfie, Letwick, and Freeman, one of the more explosive trios in the lobby. They're going to be one to fear. Pink, Neb, Stompy, another exciting trio. I'm so excited. I'm just reading out all these names. I've purposely missed one team on purpose. I'm sure there's going to be people screaming at, people screaming at the streets. Oh my God, he's not saying the name. Why is he not saying the name? Yes, Mongrel will be competing today with Kiko and Slender, and it'll be interesting to see how they do for sure.
Yeah, I mean, they were really good last week when it came to qualifier 3, couple good games, couple not so good games overall, right? It was a good indicator of how they would play in a custom set lobby, because we hadn't seen that this season yet. And here we go. This is our second opportunity to see it. They're hopefully better set up this week in terms of they've had more practice as well, which, something they hadn't had much when it came to the set lobby environments. Now they're uncontested too, so fingers crossed if we can see a top 6, it would be interesting. It'd be good to see Mongrel's team alongside obviously Kiko and Slender in a finals again.
Yeah, our first package last week was literally highlighting how Osborne went tragically for them, right? This time uncontested, things should hopefully go a bit better.
I believe, man. I believe. Mongrel, you guys got it. Don't even worry about it. You guys, I believe. I already see you guys in the finals. Don't even worry about it. Now we got to move to my favorite section of the broadcast. It's the drawing portion. That's right. We got to talk about the map. We got to talk about these trios going head to head. Now, guys, I feel like this season primarily has been dominated by the top half of the map, right? Craggy Cliffs, Steamy Stacks, Dirty Docks. So maybe that top right quadrant, if you will, this way would be better. Talk to me about the trios we're going to be seeing in this heat. Yeah, I know. That's what I did. I confused
the camera's all up. It's all up in arms. Look, I'm telling you, Steamy Stacks today is going to be super interesting. We have Malibuka, Shizo, and Murstache have been watching the last couple seasons. These guys have been really, really good. But one of the difficulties that this draw spot normally has is storm surges. We talk about very frequently. And a lot of the times from this side of the map, you're going to have to rotate really far down to areas down here, like this bridge that's really deep away from your spot, just to try and find some players to get tags on. However, this week, I think these guys have a perfect setup, because if you look on the dish next to them and also in Orchard, there's 3 teams total in that area. So rather than rotating a little bit south, they might be able to move over to that congestion over on that west side for them. But on top of that, there's also 2 teams in Craggy Cliffs, which is Mosh's trio alongside Phoenix's trio as well. So if they're moving west at any point, they still have a lot of opportunity for elimination points, for storm surge tags. So it seems like a really good week to be a Steamy team, I've got to say.
Yeah, 100%. And more so on that, sort of piggybacking off of that, I'm really hoping that we get some North zones today. I think that would really make things interesting. If you look over at Dirty... that's not a circle, is it?
That's not a circle.
Having a bit of a nightmare there. Nevertheless, Dirty Docks, right? Default, Safik, Puchik, those guys are going to be landing there. Similar sort of stuff, right? Corny Complex is contested. This area over here is going to be contested. Plenty of storm surge opportunities for them there. Of course, if there's North zones as well, teams might take a bit longer to fight. They can sort out their surge a lot better. If this team in Default, Safik, and Puchik can sort out their surge, they're going to be good, right? Because endgame, we know what they can do. They're a very explosive trio. They can pop off, get a bunch of eliminations in a victory royale. I'm really just hoping that they can sort these issues out off spawn and towards, the sort of early stages of the game.
I wanted to ask super quick, do you guys feel like there's a trio coming into the semifinals that is I guess would be kind of experienced here, right? They have this kind of X factor where they have that experience, they have the knowledge, and they could very well excel in the semifinals?
Yeah. You know there is. Zeke. We're Highland Pleasant Park. We got Fly, Bobby, and Versa. We've been here the last 3 weeks, right? This isn't necessarily a team that you would have suggested before this, or even coming into this season, is a top team to look out for, just purely based on the names alone, right? Because we haven't seen them perform over and over again in previous seasons. But now, what we're seeing is them being super dominant. They've made every single round 4 so far and been really, really close in some of them as well to actually making the qualifiers. So these guys this season clearly have the best experience and consistency, we'll say, of basically all the teams here.
Well, yeah, more so than experience, I'd almost suggest that it's a thing of these guys are really in form. We've got some stats up to be able to show you, so we'll sort of switch to that now, right? But these guys have been on form, right? Like Reece said, total round 4 appearances, they've had 3 out of 3 weeks they made it to round 4. Their best finish was a 4th place. They were the #1 team in terms of series points, right? So of all the teams, right, we talked at the start of the show, 99 top teams on the series point leaderboard made it here today. They were the 1 team at the top of the series point leaderboards. So, these guys clearly have been informed this season. They're going to be hoping that they can sort of use that today and, secure a spot in the finals. And it would be deserved, genuinely. I think it would be deserved if they made it through.
Yeah, basically they've been the most consistent team that hasn't auto-qualled, essentially, right? That's the easiest way to look at it. So good stuff from them.
Yeah, that's a very impressive stat line, especially to come off of like first in the series point leaderboard. That's pretty telling of this team's, I guess, prowess, right? Coming into the semifinals. I am looking forward to it. Guys, let's shift gears. Let's talk predictions. The trios we think will make those top 6 spots and go right into finals. Levin, I believe you were starting us off. You got Sapphic, Default, and Puttrick, which Shio seems to be in agreement with.
Yeah, we're on the same wavelength here. We are on the same wavelength, and I think you look at what these guys have been able to do this season. They've been in form. They finished, 4th in a round 4 as well. They've come so close to qualifying. We talked in previous weeks about the sort of revenge arc they're almost on, right? That opportunity to come back and really show people, no, we are one of the elite trios. When you look at raw talent, they definitely have it. And so looking forward to seeing them sort of walk through to the finals today.
Yeah, and they're also going to put on a show. That's what's important, right? Every time we've seen them so far, they put on a show. But another team who's put on a show along with that, Mustache Malibu Shizo, an incredibly aggressive team. I didn't choose them to draw on the map for no reason, right? These guys are super, super talented, and I feel like anytime I've really been looking at a tournament leaderboards, they've just been there, right? It's just one of those teams who have always been performing super consistently. So look, I'm vouching for them. And you got to remember, when these guys, if the guys make it through to finals at the same time, they're going to be contesting against Savage's team in Steamy Stacks, which will be an interesting matchup indeed.
Yeah, we'll see about that one. Sancho, though, has gone with Kiko, Slender, and Mongrel. Definitely fan favorites, and definitely a team with a bit of a question mark around whether they'll be able to show up today. That's going to be a big question. I think if they do have a good day, then we know what they're capable of. Skill is not an issue with these guys. The skill level is never in question. It's more so about the preparation, whether they are ready to show up and whether they can do well in lobbies like this. It remains to be seen, but we are going to have to see today. Today, we will find out. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, look, I want to believe in all these players, all right? I just want to make it so that all these teams, we just go right into finals. We'll figure it out. I don't know. But in reality, when you look at like Mongo's trio, this last time in Qualifier 3 was their first Qualifier 3. And now they're kind of being put up against these trios in semifinals. They may do well here, but we have to remember all the other fantastic trios that have gone through in previous qualifiers, the top 3 champions from last season that await them there. I mean, we'll see, man. I believe if any trio can do it, Mongrel's trio can do it. Guys, we have about a minute before we hop into all of the action. I want to get your just sentiment right now. How are you feeling about the competition? Do you think that we're going to see some crazy things? Do you think a lot of these teams are going to play reserved? And how much do you guys feel that like pressure is going to play a factor? Because you just don't want to be put in a situation where you get pushed to reboot round, you know?
Well, look, I'm going to stop you right there, Zeke boy. Let me tell you something. You always get, some excitement. You always get crazy things happening. That's a given. That's an absolute guarantee. But in terms of, pressure and all these things, yeah, you're going to feel pressure. At the end of the day, you want to make it to the final. You've played this whole season of Fortnite wanting to make it to the finals. Of course, there's going to be pressure there, but you got to be able to handle that pressure. If you can't handle the pressure now, what are you going to do in the finals? So, of course, you got to handle the pressure.
Exactly. And a lot of the heats for some of the players say that that's like the most nerve-wracking part, unless they go to the reboot round, obviously. They say that this is the most like nerve-wracking part for them. There are going to be a ton of nervous teams. So we're going to see which teams are basically get to test their nerves as much as possible. And I think we also haven't had that big pop-off yet, from from Heat 1, I don't think there was that crazy big match, 20 plus eliminations or something like that. And looking at the teams that we got here, like Freewalk's team, which we haven't really talked about too much as well, there's a ton of teams with the potential just to go mad one game and just put on a show.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's what I'm looking forward to, guys. We're about to hear that battle bus, so you know what time it is. We're getting ready to jump into all the action. Don't forget, we have another Heat we'll be checking into. That'll be after game 3 and after game 6. So for now, let's kick it to Shy Wager and Sancho West to start the semifinals.
Thank you so much, Zeke, Levin, and Reese. Definitely a potential for a lot of teams, but these guys mentioned it. Top 3 from last season. The top 3 players we see in teams from every qual week. The legends and the great teams await us at the end of the line, but there's one more hurdle in the way. That is the FSCS semifinals.
And what a phenomenal hurdle it is. And it happens right here. 6 games. So basically you got 6 hurdles to make sure you clear to be able to cross that finish line to get into the finals. And here we go. It's game 1. Let's see how all the action unfolds. And surprise eyes are on Milan, Wolfies, and Marine, as they've been known to go all over the place. And look at that. The feed's already lighting up, and it's about to light up some more here as we're about to watch in this corny complex drop.
Gascador already down. Ryan landing 2. Complex will have a little bit of a fight that'll last a long time and possibly delve down all the way towards the basement portion of this POI, but there's definitely a lot of action on the line for this team as well. When it comes to Mariah, Milan, and Wolfies, I feel like, Sancho, these guys are always so inconsistent throughout the day. They have that one game where they end up popping off, but then sometimes they don't meet the line of either Storm Surge or their game plan doesn't work out. They don't have the best position overall. They need to fix that today because 6 is the magic number. The top 6 will be able to move on towards those finals. That's what they're moving towards. And as they roll out, we'll tune in with Sean, Andy, and L2R2 as they're in a little bit of a kerfuffle here all the way up at this station.
Yeah, this is going to be one of the dockside dish that we're seeing this engagement here, or a known landing spot for Cammy Steady and Teak, as we're seeing the elims kind of rack up here. We've seen some engagements out there in the orchard. We're seeing Lecce already going down early, getting knocked, and then we're also seeing some engagements happen in the middle of the map, south of the aftermath. But this is going to be interesting. You talk about Sean VP and this trio. This trio was able to get a Cash Cup first place finish here, and that's when I got my eyes here, but it's all about the drop spots and can they survive this engagement?
Yeah, this engagement gets very scrappy too, back and forth. Not much room here or mats to farm because there's so much metal around. You'll have a lot of people just relying on their first type of play to make the first angle they're going to be able to peek. Kirby trying to hide under the stairs, but this man's not a wizard. He'll get found out immediately, and after that, Sean will look for the final elimination to make this 3 for the team.
You talk about this hurdles, and what a great jump start right now for Sean VP, just to be able to let them know, hey, you're not going to be able to get this dockside dish. It's going to be our opportunity to claim this spot, because we are talking about there's only 6 games, and look at this. We talk about another trio here that's been historically going to the stealthy stronghold. Paco Gray right now going to have to operate as a 2-man as one of their teammates is knocked. As Raiden is one of these things there, I thought that this would be one of these engagements that could be wrapped up quickly, but it's not looking so much for MXR and Co.
Yeah, MXR Paco Gray, this is their POI from season after season. They've made their stamp here, and right now looks like one of the members already down, but Gray's here to clap back.
Nice!
Twice almost 1v3 against Nano and Radium, but it's too much to handle. No, it's just enough. Gray is insane, and he holds it down.
That was a nice window edit there. Gray was able to get that right-hand strong peeking. Nicely done. We go from the action happen all the way, as it's formerly known as Stealthy Stronghold, up to the Craigie Cliffs, just a little bit aside to that. Another engagement between Monsters Trio and Can Trio here. It's going to be something that a lot of people are going to try to capitalize on these power POIs.
Game 1 is always about having that strong start. You will have contention at your POI, and it will get dealt with fast from both sides. So Taser will look to make his first shot here, but there is another third party coming in towards this fight, so it has a very fast ticking timer. They have to get something done quickly, get the mats and rebuild again, because if it gets to a stalemate, Sancho, that third team, they're going to pack a punch.
And this is the third team that's come in. It's Tiago's trio kind of sneaking on in here. I thought this may be Bobby's trio out in Pleasant Park.
Yeah, it might have been, but now this battle turns into a huge war. And you know how long these wars can last. It might go on for even a minute, 2 or 3. We're inside the zone as well. Craggy has a little bit of that home zone advantage. Whoever ends up controlling this POI now, out of this 3-way trio fight, I mean, they'll have a huge just leg up on everyone. And Finn, he already starts, gets 1 elim. JJ2's down. Now it's up to see exactly what this team in front of us will do. Guns towards the walls and floors, and Taser's taking a lot of damage, but Tiago gets it all reflected back. An easy clap here, but it cost them no 2 members of their trio, and JK's left alone.
Big trades are happening back and forth, and Tiago was able to hold the line just a little bit, but it is Khan right now who was able to put the pressure. Jakey there is going to get a revive here on Mosh, and here you're seeing the kind of after effects of this third party. Khan with 2 eliminations on Cession, and Tiago, Fly picking up eliminations on Gray and Paco, so it looks like Bobby, Versa, and Fly decided to push into the formerly known as Stealthy Stronghold, picking up the pieces on Paco, Gray, and MXR. And what I've noticed about Bobby and Fly and Versa there, if they're able to push into that fight, they're gonna have a great day today.
Absolutely. So we see lots of fast fights happening in these POIs, and as Sancho mentioned, some very, very smart rotations from different teams to be that third party. It's happened at Craggy. We're watching it right now, and it just happened at Stealthy moments ago. So right now, you know, with half the lobby, Sancho is all trying to get all the way towards the finals. You shall see, and you will see lots of volatility in these early POIs, lots of fights as well. This might be the first time these guys are even here in the semifinals, right? Not knowing exactly how to defend their drop spot totally. It might just be full steam ahead.
Indeed. 19 about trios, fresh face green, first time being seen in this season's broadcast. So we're going to see what they're going to be able to, as you're seeing Mosh, Taze trying to retreat to get back into a fighting stance. They're able to get back as a fully trio, but they're definitely wounded from this engagement. You do have Khan Trio out there from Germany there looking oversight with a great advantage in this POI is the Fish Sticks restaurant. It's a great place to retreat to. It's a great place to recycle, get all your mats back up and to take on the next engagement, considering that there is those slurp barrels as well. You can find some valuable shield here, but it looks like both engagements here are at a standoff.
A little bit of a stalemate. Feels like Peace King has the bad end of the stick with one of the teammates down. Reboot Van should be available to get JJ2 back. Everything's been close and personal in terms of fights, so we'll be able to reboot that, but it will take a little bit of time. And I think Jakey, Mosh, and Taser are not fully done here yet. There's still lots to loot from this side. As they break down, though, we'll see lots of dirty fighting near Dirty Docks with Putric, Sapphic, and company up against Sean, who can't really catch a break from one POI to the next, leaving the dish with full plates to come just cleared out and washed. These guys are going to be stuck between 2 godlike teams on both sides. Sean and L2R2 now in trouble from both sides, working towards the bottom of these builds. Sapphic sees him at the back, his teammates down now. It's just up to Sean for the moment. Jumps from all sides, nowhere to hide, and he gets eliminated.
This was the kind of engagement, those smart rotations that Shia was talking about, that Reese was talking about, that Sapphic trio will do and may set them up. We talked about one highlighted trio that Reese talked about. Now we go to the other, and Malibuca out coming out, Steamy Stacks already pushing down into the orchard. So you're seeing how aggressive the EU region is starting off in this Heat 3, getting right into the business and getting a little their hands messy.
Absolutely, that surge is very valuable. Not even end up popping for this threshold. It's 70 players usually that the server kind of wants to make sure are alive at the moment, no higher. If there are more, lightning will start to strike depending on how much damage people have done. But if the server's acting like this, Sancho, if everyone's just pushing each other, I don't need Storm Surge this entire game.
Exactly. Already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trios have been fully eliminated in this opening frame here of the semifinals of Heat 3, and the action is getting more intense as you see Wolfie, Milan, and Marine here just trying to dip their toes into this. Water's too cold. Water's too cold from there. I'm gonna go ahead and back out.
And everything at this point's kind of been preemptive. It's people, you know, as we've seen so far, it's fast, fighting for their spots, or with the preemptive smart strat of rotating to another POI.
Just like in like American football, because this is an EU broadcast, just like that, the first 10 plays are scripted. I feel like everything we've seen has been game plan. Everyone's executing their game plan, getting it down right, and so far it's working out for a couple of trios.
Exactly. And now once you get into the mid game, if that fight hasn't worked out yet, or you're wondering what to do next, this is where all the adaptive plays start to happen. You still can have a script of where to move and what to do, but when you get, you know, toe to toe, if you're Belusi right now and you see Swaps, Edison, and Jakey in the background, you know, how are things going to look for you there? How do you rotate? Do you really want to fight this? They say no. They want to rotate first. It's smart. Zone is slightly further away, but both teams have to keep in line with the damage and the tags they need to. See Belusi's team getting a little bit not too hasty with the builds as a result. From this side, at least, there's some openings for Jakey to take shots. Now, Jakey was also landing where Fremont, Letwick, and Wolfie were planned to land here, all the way over at Believer Beach was what we were thinking was going to happen. It looks like they might have switched things over to be a little bit more south side. leaving Freemock that super powerful POI. And as they move on, Lusha, Fire, and Cast Light will move as well. Now, we watched them a little bit on the previous weeks, and they looked very good all the way towards the end game when all three members are alive. Haven't seen too much of how they move around mid game. Their choice will be control the center of the map or the mountains, and look towards the outsides for late rotators. They find a few in Dirty Docks, but I think that's Sapphics trio. So knocking on their door, Sancho, they might not be too happy about that.
So much action has happening. We're already in zone 2, and we already been coining this term. If this is your first time tuning into the EU broadcast, the home zone is in this northeast quadrant here, where a lot of action, a lot of trios are already kind of colliding into each other, jockeying for position. As you see, the strategy here for Malibuca to use this Guardian Tower to overlook the entire way. Hydro trio is right below them. Now, last time we saw this trio in the qualifiers, they were kind of being a nuisance to Andalex's trio at height. So expect this trio right here to do the same thing when about half in and half out. Zone 5 here is to go for height. And the only thing is because they kind of cause this chaos, they make things a little bit messy. So these are one of the kind of trios you got to look out for. They're the wild card of the lobby.
Not just the wild card. That nuisance tag is very accurate for Zester and Hydro and Backfeed. These guys are rolling in kind of the mosquitoes of the lobby all the way down in terms of series points at the very, very bottom. They're looking not only to hit the top 6 in semifinals today, but change the way lots of people see them within the scene, solidify their play style and the way they work as teammates all the way towards the very end. Not a one-hit wonder at all. This is their chance to kind of show they can go multi-platinum, right? So we'll see exactly if they can elevate to that standard. Wolfies as well with Milan Marian. Powerful names when you kind of leave them side by side in solos. Look at their history overall. The season's been a little bit shaky for them, and there's not that much confidence for a lot of people in terms of, hey, will they make it? They are fan favorites for sure, and pros like them a lot. The question is, you know, off of game 1, will these guys do well? Because Sancho, they rely so much on momentum. They start the day well, it always goes well. They don't start the day that well. We saw it in the quals. They end up just crumbling and not finding a footing to stand on too much.
Game 1 heading into mid game here, making that transition. You're seeing already, like I mentioned, another trio has been added. Paco, Gray, and MXR went down in Stealthy Stronghold, but another trio here is in trouble here. Bobby Fly, and Versa here are pushing right into Mosh, who already has been wounded, finding in craggy cliffs here. They're not going to have the advantage. So Bobby Versa here already pushing into another one, gets elimination on Jakey. Jakey going down right there. Bobby Versa and Fly looking to get into the finals after becoming so close throughout the entire 3 qualifiers that we've seen him on the broadcast. But you're seeing the bright side here. The silver lining for TaZe is that they have a lot of Storm Surge accrued here, but at what cost? And that cost may be their chance here to make it to endgame in game 1.
I was looking at all the fear the best team in EU for the semifinals is kind of putting into Taser and Mosh for the moment. They pick up Jakey from the back. But yeah, Bobby versus Fly, 4th, 5th place respectively, I believe, in a few weeks. And then another qual appearance as well after the fact. I mean, these guys have to be the ones to watch for this heat, for the entire semifinals in general, possibly across the world, because they've done things so well up until this point. 5th will still be good enough, 4th will still be good enough for them, but they're definitely also shooting for 1st.
My only big caveat for Bobby for qualifying is they do really well when they're contested at Pleasant Park. In the qualifiers, that's when they got their best finish, and when they finished in 4th. When they're uncontested, they finished in the 15th range and like 19 around their mid-range. But they made the adjustments, and they're pushing aggressively into different POIs to rack up that Storm Surge. So I like the adjustments. I like the new game plan that Bobby versus and Fly are executing.
See if the freedom factor will be in their favor. Kowalski, Belusi, and Ardy, we saw their struggles so far. They've kind of just, I don't know, spun into a different trio over and over again. Can't find room to operate themselves. Now we see Mongo rolling in too, but once again, Storm Surge issues. 77 is where the server kind of just stopped, deleting players left and right. Now we're stuck at 74, and Mongrel's trio's also stuck. Slender knocked down. Kiko looking for some damage, looking to get Mongrel back up, possibly and alive, but it needs to shoot more. Oh no, already. The number 1 team to watch from the fan perspective is taken out.
Pink's trio from Lazy Lake moving into colliding with the trio from Retail Row. You talked about a Mongrel, Slender, Kiko. You're telling me that Kiko walked out of Retail Row with only a gray tack, not enough firepower, and most likely they you know, maybe they were pressured by Storm Surge to rotate out early. We've seen them do it before. They've been consistent in qualifiers, but yes, the fan favorite already out in game 1.
If you guys were watching qual number 3, they were just so good at fighting in their spot. That's where they got their surge. That's where they dealt damage. That's where Kiko kind of warmed up. I guess not having that opportunity, even just having the freedom in general, everyone moving too early. They might not be used to it yet. Still have 5 more games after this to adapt to that. Meanwhile, though, every single trio should be hiding, overbuilding right now because all these guys coming in with a new flavor. They have Aryan Lee, FSI, and Surprise. I mean, these guys are looking at any opportunity to find even a limb of an opponent and deleting almost 80 HP in the blink of an eye. Stompy should be a much bigger challenge than Belusi down below. It'll be a lot tougher to find any shots onto that base, but these guys are still rolling in scot-free, barely building, breeding for a better position overall. I mean, they haven't even made it in the zone completely just yet. They forced Belusi on the left to stand down. They look like the dominant rotators for the moment.
Talk about a metaphor in action that we're seeing. They're usually using the paved road that someone already paid for them to make this rotation. Surprise being the veteran of this trio. Surprise coming all the way from the Season X days. So now you're seeing that is the veteran leader of this group, FSI, and Orion here coming in from the new fresh faces that we have to the broadcast. Now we go to Flecken, an old name that we all seem to love because he was able to qualify via the reboot round with the old friends of Diablo. But now we're seeing them make that rotation and they're going to go ahead and park on top as we jump to another perspective here on the south side of Zone 4 of Milan, Wolfies, and Marine.
And this zone will have a very big bowl effect. You'll see lots of big bases all the way around the edges and then towards the center. Everyone should be, even though on higher elevation, possibly slightly further down. That's because there's so much collision all the way at the edge of the safety zone line. You can even see it right here, right now. There's a little bit of a hill that's forcing everyone down. Anyone that comes in is not going to be able to build as high as Wolfie's bases right now, as high as anyone that is around him either. End up just shoved down towards the dirt. Wolfies, Pablo, Tomsy, Bloomy, these should be the trios that should just have these high bases. Flusha gets lucky with a little bit of an overbuild up, but at the same time, all these ones on the edge will be able to launch pad in past there and then stick towards the dirt.
We went from the mid game, now we're transitioning to the end game. Half in and half out Zone 5, half in the safe, half in the storm. 6, 7, 8, 9 for those of you the first time tuning into competitive play, already going to be moving zones. 9 going to be that ultimate close here. And of course, we have to keep an eye on Storm Surge. Next one's going to come out. We're 50 at the top. Milan! Oh my goodness, what happened? Did his toes? No, he went for this engagement. He pushed someone. He pushed Artie Trio down below. Was going to go for a box-to-box engagement, and he pays the price. And that is what happens. I thought Storm Surge was going to be a factor there. I thought, why would they be pushing? But I think they were just uncomfortable with someone being down below. And Wolfies now pays the price. Giving them toes, says the other team. And Wolfies is down, and Marine, the former DreamHack champion, is left as a solo.
Artie and Belusi just completely tired of getting bullied for the first 3 zones. They take matters into their own hands and get mean. All that loot for them now. Marine still has that pad that they can force out and then recycle after the fact. That being said, though, for this next zone, I believe 18 people, one after this, once it locks in, are going to have to be able to get taken out. That is a huge amount. Still a few people trickling here and there, just like we saw Wolfies in Milan do. Lots of people, possibly Sancho, you know, just having a build open here or there. Maybe it's surge, maybe it's positioning. It has to be positioning for Flecken right there. Taken out by Letwick. Freemock still has the chance to extend that base. 80 below, though, for Shizo, Flow, Burstash, and Malabuka. This is a team some analysts, some players are expecting to get first. And right now, their chances, at least in game 1, are looking very rough.
Reese was kind of predicting that they would do a lot of Storm Surge, but no, so far they're below it, and they get right inside of Freemock's face. Freemock's still dangerous, and Freemock had a purple pump shotgun. How did that happen? Mustache with a sneaky play, eliminating one of the most dangerous players armed with a purple pump. Oh my.
Surge is so difficult to get to in terms of threshold in this lobby. Letwick with just a full elimination, that's still not enough damage. Shizo, Mustache, and Malabuka, they've been tapping on teams left and right, center, all the way through mid-game. Those beams aren't enough either. You have to go even further, even more. The lightning is still striking for the moment.
I'm just surprised that Malabuka is struggling for Surge, considering that so many people have the ability of a third party. Here it is, that half in and half out on the left side. On the top right, you have Leon, Etsy, and Skype right now with 9 points. On the bottom right of your screen, though, we just saw 7 points as Shizo's trio. As, oh my, Leo gets lobby focused, gets eliminated, gets sprayed out as Etsy and Sky now have to work as a duo, as a majority of the trios that are in the safe zone. There's only 2 who are the late stragglers, and one's about to pad over. As you're about to see, there they go, those right arrows flying into safety.
We'll go towards the top left, River in tow. Possibility of a hill to use as well. SD in a lot of trouble. Tries will finally equalize for the moment, but these guys know they're in trouble, that they need more damage. Now it's SD all by himself. Minis and Medkit can be popped here. In 15 seconds, the zone will close in. We'll have a little bit of a lull period to see exactly what these teams can do. Game 1, though, has been absolutely rough. It seems like every team's had to move, and no one's had control of anything just yet. Already even going down to meta inside boxes. Escanor, who popped off, and I think also went down early game, rebooted. He gets taken out in a second chance by Jakey. Now we have so many different players finally finding their footing here, but they'll have to move once again. The majority of the lobby does get zoned for the moment. We'll see who's in control.
We've seen Esti here, man. If you remember that name that's coming from the World Cup days, coming in 10th place with Vato. And now we're taking a look at who has the power advantage in this K-Rose trio at height.
Q-Ro will try to get his things done all the way towards the top, but Marine is the focus right now. The solo clutches, how far, how long can they go? Maintenance box, no. Gets here, completely vacated. Looks for shots too on the Zestin. Oh man, so many people on so many layers around him.
If Marine could do this, he has the pad. There it is, a short pad to get to the front side. He has the mats, he has the firepower. He is below Storm Surge, 114. He has 13 people know to go down, so he's gonna have to put some use with that purple tack.
I'm seeing Stompy pop off, so mid-ground's being very loud right now. That's good for Marine. Not too many people should be fighting on this layer, but he's trying to do something against Rotary. Get an Elam, get a refresh anywhere. That's his goal right now. And as his zone catches up, all those opportunities, they start to disappear. They get riskier now on his walls. Rotary gets his revenge. Marine is forced to go all the way up, but this is where the action is. This is where it's trouble land, and Marine's almost out of mats too, left with just 300 soft wood materials. If anyone watches and sees that he's rebuilding with ramps, it should be over. He's deleted, but got some vital placement for his team all the way up until that point.
During that scrum, Malibuka's trio picked up a couple eliminations, and now we're seeing Meta pick up an elimination, and now we see Lyzen getting that elimination on Rotary here, but we're still in focus on another possibility for a slow clutch, and it's Etsy, who placed 17 in the Chapter 2 Season 3, gonna try to dip into the medkit here. I don't think that's enough. Okay, there it is. He was able to get it. There was a little bit of latency on that. Murstache gets another elimination on fly. So Malibuka's trio, who's been dormant the first half of this match, is really getting hot in this end game right now.
Racking up the points, but at the same time, so many teams are just surviving fully. No trio member going down.
Bobby's still in this.
And there's so many different bases built too. There's so much space for people to be able to live right now. We might be going into a crazy ninth zone with Q-Roll and Hysix with Geds still on height.
Hi, Joe. The mosquito of the lobby gets a knock on Shizo. So that was very nicely done as Etsy, the solo player, is trying to get away from the eyes of Geds here. They have the high ground, and they have 5 eliminations right here. Can they close this out? Being one of those unsurprising teams, they're coming out of nowhere to get the first victory out here in the semifinals.
We've seen some mistakes from high ground teams as they have this comfortable position. They don't push for more, and as a result, at the end of the 6 games, they don't get enough points to be inside the top 6. Geds might have to get even dirtier, drop down and get more elims, or just play that safe route and hope those 6 games don't catch him up. Regardless, though, Esti still trying to make that clutch, has that slurp cannon, is looking to make it a little bit more, and gets crucial placements from 13 all the way down to 6 teams alive. That's how far he survives, and now we have full trios battling it out. No, it's Malibuka by himself, takes out Meta. Inside the storm goes the other way. We're hoping, just waiting for any other team to go down, and one does. He gets even more placement after that. A huge clutch. This trio, though, is still on height. They're looking very good. Bobby deleted inside the storm. The Loot boys are not letting anyone by through their filter of a low ground layer. Zestin now all the way towards the ground. He's got the mass and the ammo to make sure this final fight is in his favor. Builds out the whole way. There's no way Gets can really find any opening here towards the bottom side, and Hydro and Backfeet are still beside him.
We have 2 trios right now and 1 solo running around the cause of ruckus. And it's Versa in the mid ground, and the low ground it's Versa here trying to push through here. here as the Loot Boys are controlling the low ground. He's getting pressure from the top side. Versa here is going to try to dance on the storm line as much as possible. What a great round, 10 eliminations. Now he has no choice to go up to height, and he gets clapped right there by Kuro. Now we have the battle between height and low. Low ground right now does not have a lot of firepower. Kuro is going to go on and push on through. Let's see who's going to be able to win this engagement right now for the first victory royale. Some great plays. Kuro goes down. Here we go. It's coming down to the finish. Jez and Hyzix get those eliminations with 11 eliminations and the victory royale, able to wipe out the Loot Boys on low ground. Wow, what a surprising finish, surprising names, trios that we have yet seen here on the broadcast besides the Loot Boys making an impact in game one, Shayo.
Yeah, what a way to make that impact too. Kuro Gads all the way from the start of the 5th zone had height, held it, and then dominated all the way towards the very end to win a very clean 3v3. I mean, that was just magical.
Very magical indeed. And you speaking of magic, I know there's going to be magic on the analyst desk. Let's go ahead and take it to 11, Reese, and Zeke.
Magic you ask for, magic you shall receive. Congratulations, Hyzix, Gidez, and Kuro. Forgive me if I'm saying your names wrong, but guys, this trio came in on 36th in the series point leaderboard, and now they're going to start semifinals with a victory royale and 11 eliminations. 11. This is a very strong start.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I always say to teams, you want to start how you mean to finish. And at the end of the day, a good start is everything. A good start can be the difference between you qualifying and not qualifying. But, you need to continue this now. And it's a really good start. They played high incredibly well. 11 eliminations gives them a good sort of lead. Can you keep on doing this in the next couple of games? The most important question.
Well, that's a good question, given the fact that they are currently a very 50-50 drop spot, landing at one of the dishes near Orchard with Lecce's team, which has obviously Swilliam and Kylix on as well. So, it's a difficult one to say if they're going to be able to keep that consistency going all the way through. But look, maybe they've just absolutely mastered that early game and drop spot when it comes to every single match. And we're just going to see some domination coming out from Kuro and the boys. It'd be good to see.
Yeah, and that, to 11's point as well, we see this all the time, right? A team starts really strong, gets a ton of eliminations, but then cannot do anything else, right? That first VR is a make or break for a lot of trios. And sometimes we see trios prevail, but it's pretty small time. So I'm hoping this trio can keep that ball rolling. Guys, we know Storm Surge has absolutely been an issue for trios, but there's one trio that started this early game and they're already identifying the issues that they have and they're correcting those mistakes. Reese, you want to break it down?
Yeah, look, that's Fly, Bobby, and Versa, the team that we've already mentioned, who placed third in that game with 10 eliminations. And this is how the first three of them came out. Look at the positioning that they're in. They pushed up north, up to where Paco's team has already actually ended up finishing a fight, healing up, and getting into the weakness of it. Look at the angles that they're at. Bobby, Versa, and Fly taking complete pinches from all of the way around, applying that pressure down. You notice Versa's 300 AR because they've looted so efficiently in that early game. And they got good RNG and got a Llama at the same time. So that just allows them to be at every single angle. And that team down below has nothing they can do. If you're Greenio's team with Paco and MXR, what do you do in this situation where you're just getting pressured all the way from the outside?
It's almost like they're like a Burrow constrictor, right? Just squeezing them in, not really giving them much room to work with. And in that stage in the game, right, the team you're fighting's never going to have that much resources as well, right? Unless they've gotten lucky and found a llama like you. So being able to just wait them out there, brilliant stuff. And as you can see, they are sitting there in second place. Versa did a great job of being able to class them a couple extra placement points. These guys definitely going to be someone to watch out for. Bloomy, Pablo, Tomsy. In the end game, that's all, Pablo getting a couple eliminations, right? He seemed to have had a bit of a pop-off. They're sitting in third. All around, a lot of the top teams you would have expected to do well this heat, high up in the standings. Of course, there's a couple people who I'd want to see a bit higher. Look, I'm looking for Safik's name. Can't see them yet, but I'm sure we will see them. I'm sure we will. Mustache, Malibuka, Shizo as well. Decent start. All round, no big surprises other than the Kuro win, I'd probably say.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. If we look for the next page, you can see what's there and see if we can see, there we go, 12th place, Safik, Default, and Putrick coming in. They end up placing 12th with 3 eliminations, so, not a hot start for them. Still a good amount of points, though, right? Being 12th after game number 1, not too bad at all. It's not like you're in a 0-point game, you're further down. That's plenty to get yourself moving. Same with Rotary's team in a very similar position. Same with, Squint, CC, and Remix, who've also been really, really good this season. So there's a lot of teams who have started to get that pop-off going, but, didn't necessarily continue all the way through the end game. So the next couple games, we're going to hopefully see those teams capitalize on the rest of the fact they actually had a good start to it, right?
I feel like we're always talking about, adjustments that are being made, right, in between game 1 and game 2. And that game, we saw a bunch of teams struggling with Surge, a bunch of teams being forced to take fights where they didn't look comfortable, like Kiko, Mongrel, Slender, that trio. Obviously, people will be watching out for them. They just didn't look like they wanted to be in that position. They were forced to sort of be in that position. How do these teams now adjust? Because, you know, you can't afford to make those mistakes in game 2 after you've already made them in game 1. Game 1, cool. Clean slate now, you got to go back in and sort of be a bit more efficient in that sense. So I'll be watching out for those teams.
Whatever trio can adapt, man, right? You can make these errors in the semifinals, but if you want to compete in finals and you want to be a champion, you cannot make these errors. We'll have to see which trios can adjust and come out stronger, especially in the remaining 5 games. But y'all know what time it is. We heard the bus, which means it's time to go. We're going back over with Shy Wager and Sancho West to kick off game number 2.
It's all about having that hot start and then keeping it rolling. I mean, thank you so much, Zeke, Levin, and Reese for that, because that's definitely the case here, Sancho. No matter what adjustment it is, it has to be a good one. If you fall in game 2 after having a hot game 1, that's trouble.
This is a marathon and not a sprint here. And Reese talked about the traffic jam that's happening here up at this dish area. And Lecce could be the one that kind of stops the big train of Q roll and slow his roll essentially here. So now we're going to keep eyes on this engagement here. And already the roll has already started to hit a bump right now. And that bump is in the old school name of Lecce, who was able to claim the supply chest.
He gets it up because that first fast Elam 2, it's huge to have, and Kalex will be beside him. Yeah, it's game 1 winner, and this is what we're talking about. Q rolls here too. I mean, Landowar's the north side. We can see what can kind of really happen. I guess it's, you know, disaster for this team. A very, I guess, the best possible placement you could have in the first game, and then what's looking like to be the worst possible one for game number 2.
Yeah, and you're talking about a trio right there featuring Lecce, who has historically been one of the most decorated EU players in the region. And, you know, we're talking about Lecce's success mainly during the Benji and Savage days in season 4. This man has got so many first place finishes in third-party tournaments here, and combined with Kylix as well. You know, Lecce's been one of those kind of players that we've all been rooting for to make a return. He's been always looking for trios, has always seemed to not find a home. Maybe, just maybe, with this trio, he finds a home.
Possibly right now, trouble at home for Gray, Paco, and MXR. That domination 1v3 from Gray's side of things, this POV that we just saw a game before in the past, it wasn't enough to kind of stop Nachi Radeon Company from coming here again, contesting once more. And honestly, I don't blame him. You know, Stealthy can go either way. It was pretty dominating fashion that Gray kind of ended that fight. He might be the one to make it happen again, forcing all 3 players into the same box.
Yeah, you know, all I can say is, like, when you get these eliminations, you have to wrap this up quickly because they are on a timer. They are on the clock right now, and that clock is going to have the big alarming attack in Bobby, Versa, and Fly. So now this team is going to, they wrapped it up quickly. Great. Now they're going to have to definitely be on the defense and keep all eyes on the swivel, or heads on the swivel, to make sure that Bobby, Versa, and Fly are not pushing in.
I think the reason Bobby Versa Fly pushed in the Pleasant Park team in game number 1 is that Zone was also on the north side. It was a possibility, an option for Pleasant Park entirely in that first game. Now with Zone being a little bit more south, I don't think any teams will go all the way up to Lighthouse and give away map positioning that much. So Gray, Paco, and MXR, they should be fine for now.
They're definitely going to try to get a better finish. Now, let's take a better picture of Zone 1. This is going to be a centralized zone, a little bit favoring the west side. So this is going to be a home zone for the Loot Boys down in Boney Burbs, as you see right there, dead center. You're going to also see another, you know, Fremont is definitely going to have a great opportunity to cash in with this zone. And those are the trios that I'm going to keep an eye on to see if they were able to do well. On the bottom right of the screen, you see clashing here with Z Andy, like I mentioned, winning a Cash Cup. Surprisingly, one of those teams is out of nowhere. You look at the leaderboard, you're like, wait a minute, how did this team win a Cash Cup in the trios? And they were able to capitalize here, but they only got 8 points in game 1.
Try to see if they can elevate that. For reference as well right now, in terms of who's in first place, the points aren't that, you know, unattainable off of one game. It's 52 for Curol, Geds, and Heisix, who should be at a complete standstill after this game, especially if Lecce ends up finding Curol wherever he may be hiding for this early game so far. This should be the trio to really focus on inside this game. Pleasant Park, once it's in zone, which is still kind of forced to rotate off of it, it's kind of a very normal and advantageous game for the people landing there. That's Bobby, Fly, and Versa. That's the #1 series points team coming into the semifinals.
Where are they going? Are they going to push into Coral? Looks like they're going to collect themselves a supply drop, but where are they going to go after this? We already seen them get a llama in the previous match, and that gave them the green light to decide to push into other regions, into other POIs to cause a ruckus. So let's see where Bobby, Fly, and Versa goes. We'll keep an eye on them, definitely keep a keen eye on them in the elimination feat.
We'll keep rocking and rolling. Want to see exactly what the plan for Mongrel is for the moment as well, because early game is where they made a few mistakes here and there. I guess it's also the exact same thing for Bobby versus Fly. They're going for this cosmic chest, and now for the second time I found another llama. I guess this is all part of the plan for them overall. We'll tune in with Sean and company here as well, up at this station again for a second time. See if this fight can be clean a little bit faster, and then they don't get trapped in the mountains by Sapphic after the fact. It'll be Marine, Wolfies, and Milan. They're fighting. It will not be a easy fight whatsoever, but one they might have to take to stay ahead of Surge.
It's so amazing to see the push coming from Corning Complex versus coming from the Dish area. The Dish has a pad that you could kind of push right into it, but it's Wolfies, Milan, and Marine pushing this engagement. So I'm just quite surprised. Once again, they disengage. They take a couple of shots and disengage. The water is just too cold for them to cannonball into.
Now, lots of proactiveness from all teams, but you're right. It's not like they're fully committing towards the plan. The water might be cold because metal builds instantly spawned up from the side of Andy and Sean. Just looking at a key 9 in case these guys do overpeak, but slowly and surely they'll move back their way into the zone.
Definitely, I want to see if we could find a way to take a look at Mongrel just to get a taste of what he's doing in early game, to see where is that small snowball that's starting on top of their hill that kind of just careens right down into their qual, that avalanche of destruction of all the fans. And where does it start? It has to start somewhere, and that's the thing about Fortnite competitive, Shayo. It starts somewhere. It's a butterfly effect. It causes so much chaos for them in game, and we saw them go down in mid game. And I was looking into it when I was looking at the drop spots in this kind of lobby. I saw, okay, Pink Trio could go into them and cause the problems, and they did in the previous round. So here we go. Now we get a taste of them, and they're setting up right south of the Aftermath area. Did they go somewhere else, or did they just make a very aggressive rotation, Shayo?
They have to change things up and make rotations. It's still kind of, it's deep into the game. You loot retail when you're uncontested. It can happen fairly fast. Then you move across the map after the fact. The thing that kind of left them out before is not moving fast enough probably and going for these tags. This is a very good spot to look around both ways for anyone rotating out of the south side. One big issue though is that, a lot of the part right now of zone is actually safe around them. They're not going to find many people really, moving around willy-nilly all the way towards the outsides. That's exactly what Sapphic was kind of driving by, the spot we just saw Andy and Sean in. That's a very good spot to maybe tag people for Surge, a little bit outside of the zone. Over here, it might be tough to kind of find things. They're kind of rattling on Bobby, Versa, and Fly and some people around them, but it seems like rotations here are just kind of scarce.
And Mongrel's trio came in 26th place in game 1, going down to the hands of Peak's trio. Back on board here with one of the favorites to be in the top 6, Bobby, Fly, and Versa. And there it is. They're taking shots at that general area, Mongrel. And that's the thing, is I don't want to see this trio being another Cammy City and Teak where they're just the woulda couldas, close, and then they get sent to the reboot, because that will test their mental. And we're already seeing some big names of the EU region from the previous heat go into the reboot, like Thomas, Flick, and Nos. One of those ones that we were just hoping that they would definitely get in with the semifinals with the kind of a lobby, the kind of the names they are, with the kind of experience they have in FNCS, and that just did not happen, folks.
I mean, the good thing for them right now is that off that first game, Versa all the way towards the very end, got a nice 3rd place. Have a good pedestal off of game number 1, but 2 here is all about fixing mistakes. They're going to be looking all the way for first. Fleck is going to be looking for a better position overall in the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th zones. The 5th is where he got taken out, and he'll get rattled by Taser as he drives away. Now, the perspective of this trio, Taser, JK, and Mosh, we were watching them last game. They were the perspective of chaos. Wherever they went, 2 trios followed. Every box they had was automatically a pinch. I don't know how or why, but they just attract carnage wherever they walk. And Latwick is stopping them in their tracks right now. They might attract another 3rd party too if they stay here too long.
They probably got you got cute cheeks. You know, you just want to pinch them. You see them, you just want to pinch these guys. And now they're going to have to try to avoid Fremont, who probably has the biggest pincers in the EU region. We already saw Fremont go down earlier in game 1, but literally Fremont is out in the open saying, shoot me. I want this engagement. And Taze and the Portugal boys don't want to taste.
That's a bait, because if they end up opening any boxes, Wolfie and Letwick are there to drop the punishment. Even on this move, it's costing them so much, and Taze misses just one ramp and pays about 90 HP for that. So we'll see him mini all the way up in a very sad way, and Letwick's not stopping on this. They've kind of identified that this might be a free team to push and break down. Building with Brick, it's still an open invitation kind of to an aggressive trio to kind of maybe jump on the walls, but they bully them under the bridge now. They're kind of in a position that's very hard to get out of and very pinchable from all sides.
Now we're seeing them get in a defensive stance. This is a very dangerous defensive stance, considering that there's so many focus on here. Fremont gets knocked by J-Key. So Fremont was trying to get in, and J-Key says, get out. You're not allowed in this one. It's sent out of this lobby, and one of those ones that we've seen again, like a highlight maker, clip maker, styling and profiling all over the socials in the Fortnite comp world. And that one has already been eliminated. So it's up to Wolfies and Letwick here. We're sitting just above them here on the red bridge. Gonna have to push on in. Again, their feet, we've been seeing, this is another trio that their feet was something down below. I love this new meta that's been developing over the seasons, is just reaching down and pulling people that are above you.
Yeah, I'm not sure that if it was a Fremont dive or if you got that
That's a good question.
Pulled him down.
That is a good question. Did Fremont decide to go in? Yes.
If he did, it might have been a bit too preemptive. Now I think the fight will be for Letwick and Wolfie to maybe try to get in and get that reboot, if anything, because there still is time and a lot of POIs around them where they can get that teammate back up. The issue is Mosh, Taze, and Jakey, after getting bullied this far and in this position inside the zone, everything's so safe, there's no chance they move. And now Wolfie and Letwick, they're enticed to actually go for that reboot, get a little bit of conflict, because they're 16 below Surge at the moment right now. They need to get things up, find players deal damage. Could be the men who took out their partner, their trio mate, just moments ago.
That's what I mean. You know, Fremont must have known that they were under Storm Surge. They were coming out of Believer Beach. They didn't find anything, so they send in Fremont, their canary, into the coal mine, and all of a sudden, eliminated was that big, juicy canary. So now Wolfies and Letwick here are going to have to deal with it. They're in shambles. They're about 16 below. They have to get this trio right to feel a little bit better when the next time Storm Surge says hello. And here we go. 50-50 inside the box. Wolfie trying to go in. 13 HP, but Taze gets that knock. And now it's up to Letwick here to hold on to the fort here, and that's the green light for the Portugal boys to kind of chase down and Letwick. Letwick now trying to get away. He's gonna have to use the natural terrain to work his way around, and that's just gonna be enough distance to discourage the Portugal boys from pushing in.
The control on that wall gave Wolfies no chance at all in that fight whatsoever. He's down. Letwick will have to run around. JJ2 now again from Craggy, now all the way to halfway rotating to a good spot on the map. He's in trouble once again to multiple trios around him.
We listen to the shots ring out here. Flecking in an engagement right below. JJ2 and Khan are just trying to slow down. Of course, Peace King, aka Khan, you're working his way through, and down goes Peace King. No pieces to protect himself. So JJ2 now is going to left to rat his way in the shadows to maybe just sneak on through as Wolfies gets an elimination on Zandy. Just almost, man. That would have been a hot snipe, but that was just enough to let the trio know that there's somebody here inside the shadows lurking. And just like that, JJ2 is going to bounce out with the Insta-Bull to find another home place here to kind of sneak through. This is home base here, but always having troubles opening that front door as we see MXR zoom on by in the background.
The inflatable has been the item of choice for a lot of these solo clutchers running away. SD won't have the option to have one still trapped in those boxes, not on greener pastures. But at the same time, these loot boys, honestly, Sancho, from literally the worst possible place when you can have on the series leaderboard to an amazing opening today. I mean, the one time we did see them inside a qual week where they had chance to deal damage to other trios, they were doing it in seldom games. Overall, in that week, they still didn't have, you know, the best performance. We saw the potential. Now we'll see what they can do once they're in the lead, and we'll see what happens when a team who's used to being in the lead, Letwick, Wolfie, and Fremont, at least in some games, at least in their names, is not going to have that chance. Letwick, no cards for of his teammates at all either. And just out healing Storm Surge. He gets the Loot Boys on his doors, straight back down under the bridge where these aggressive trolls, I guess, for this game belong. And there's no way for him to run or hide.
Letwick was like looking, oh, my ride share is here. Oh, nope, that's not mine. I'm out. I'm going to go ahead and back on out. Loot Boy, the mosquitoes of the lobby, I'm just quite surprised. You talked about what they did last time in qualifiers. It was colliding with Red Rush and Mappy, and they went down so many times, but it was that one time that they were able to stop them there, and we all had a moment to put on pause there to see if Red Rush could qualify, and he was just able to hold on with his 162 points here. But hey, Boney Burbs, there's a lot more action developing here as we're seeing Pablo, Tomsy, and Bloomy here trying to push on through. We still see Kiko and Slender are still up with a great metal base. Where is Mongrel? It's going to be the Portugal duo here that's going to have to clutch for that trio.
We'll try 2 shots from all sides. Skewered like a kebab between these builds. Pablo Tomsy and Bloomy are, and Bloomy's already down, chomped, overcooked, and burned. Fantastic down below is having a big push with Gilius. As we look into this fight, it's multi-based, and Letwick
Holy!
Gets Wolfie back up. Give me 2. Give me 2, though. It is 2. Is that Freemox health bar as well? I mean, it's looking extra thick, I guess, but he's here with it. Both teammates up and alive, looking really well. This is the distraction they needed, but yo, the whole server has ears. They hear it happen. A maximum of 300 mats to use to get back inside the game on the busiest side of the Fortnite island. I mean, it's going to be impossible, but if there's a trio that can do it, it should be Letwick, Freemock, and Wolfie.
They found some solace here in the whole tunnel, and they were able to work when Fremont gets knocked now. I was going to say, what a fantastic rescue mission to find some miners in a stuck kind of crazy situation here. But Letwick, Wolfies, now they're going to work as a duo. So, hey, still very clutch moment. We talked about, hey, Mongrel's still up, Mongrel's still vibing. We talked about it. These are very crucial here as the Fireflies blazes now. It's in trouble, and Letwick is left alone, and they lit the candle here. So now Letwick is trying to avoid the blaze that's happening, but you cannot avoid the blaze of the lobby focus. Slender picks that up, and Kiko gets an elimination on Wolfie. So Mongrel, Kiko, and Slender can take advantage of a dire straight situation. But hey, at least you entertain us, Lickwick, on that one.
Absolutely. They're moving in from that south side. This is one of the things that, hey, even if that base you built earlier on didn't find a lot of tags, if you stay with the zone, you'll find teams who are struggling basing beside you. That's where you can get your free surge. So a big pickup from Slender, something that wasn't there in the first game, and as a result, these guys went down because of that. Now they have it in this one. Let's see what they can do with the potential to actually be able to play inside a mid/end game.
You're seeing the different ways of people traversing into the rotation here for Zone 4. Look at so many people rotating on through. Slender, Mongrel, Kiko are going to take a pit stop here to grab this supply drop. They do have some pads here, no doubt. They may have gotten another pad from this drop here, but my concern here, Shio, if I'm going to go looking forward here, is yes, they got the Storm Surge, but do they have the positioning? I would say not. Look at so many arrows that stand in their way.
Not yet. This is one of the consequences of playing that zone line. Sometimes you have a max rotate. It takes time. But if they leave late, if they get those refreshes, they can find these paths untraveled, the shadows between the eye lines of many different players. Using this hill, they get all the way in.
That's a nice rotation. Very nice. Very nicely executed by the trio.
Staying all the way towards low might be the way for now, but they're going to be battling 2 different Milans.
That was clean.
They're going to be battling Q-Roll as well on the backside, who has a solo, still alive. I think his teammates were rebooted and recently knocked down again. This is huge, though, because I believe after this point, placement starts to roll in.
Yes.
Almost consistently. So anything that he survives from now on should be huge, but it's going to be difficult.
Oh no, the great rotation by Kiko and Slender hits a big stop sign. Tiago getting that Q-roll with 8 HP, trying to hold on, who's already been a hide-and-seek champion, was able to get away from Lutzy, but Wolfie says, surprise! I found you, brother. You're out.
What was that? Wait, is that a dude behind my box right
Dude,
there?
that was a jump scare right there. Almost.
Why are people shooting our builds? They're missing.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. And it's over. Finds Q-roll. Thank you for that. So another team that sometimes lacks surge gets a free damage tag. Mongrel, though, while this happens, lost both teammates. What?
Yo, it's so funny, though, real quick. Letchy was like, couldn't find him, but his old partner, Wolfie's like, I got you, Letchy. I found Q-roll.
Yeah, but I'm still wondering exactly how these guys went down. I guess the risk of staying beside many different trios, I mean, has its dire consequences when you make mistakes. They got in, they look good, they try to elevate their builds, and I think that's maybe where they might have tripped up.
I want to stay on Mongrel and keep much tabs as possible here because he has a very strong rotation. So Mongrel has a pad. He could definitely do this. Maybe recycle a couple of pads, but it's the firepower he doesn't have. And of course, it's the disadvantage in the manpower.
Obviously, third place still rotating all the way up top. There still are many big teams to follow as well. Yes. Will have a chance to keep their lead. Tomsy and Pablo will have to do it as a duo. Lumi's going to be down for now, and at the same time, Mosh will be the target once again. These guys can never get a break. Always hunted down at any point of the game. That'll be a huge refresh for the duo to have, popping a few floppers to stay inside the game too. See, Default getting a pick there too now. So the CL boys are looking to be, in terms of power in this mid/end game towards that 5th zone, a very good spot.
I love this use right here from production. We got our spotlight player right there, Mongrel, trying to survive. Look at all the chaos he has to survive. They're going to taste of it. Look at on the left side, all those arrows, and Mongrel's on the bottom right of all that chaos with only soft mats, aka wood builds, aka shoot me, I'm about to get out.
Came into the zone with 24. Now we're down to 16 teams after that huge shot from Tomsy. Another pickup. These guys are basically just evaporating, exterminating all the different trios inside the layers around them, making sure that rotation will be free. Use that launch pad whenever it may be, but at the same time, surprise, and lots of people are on the side of Mongrel's box, putting pressure down. He has to change layers so much. He has to make new bases over and over and over again, to the point where he has no hard mats, no brick either, no metal, now just left with wood.
Hey, I see the play that is going to happen as Milan knocks Hydro. He's going to wait in the cone, wait for the server to wash over him, maybe catch a body as it's going right over him, but he said Lex to go ahead and just go for the rotation to play as much place as possible. But he could glide into a box, and there's a window, just like when you open the door, and all of a sudden all these flies fly right in, and Mongrel will be the deadliest one. We are on an insect vibe today, Shayo.
Absolutely. Let's see exactly where Mongrel will land a little bit of a sting.
5 builds.
Not many mats left at all. Just one more box. Yeah, if he wants to fortify it too. But he finds another launch pad. It's a half pad he moves with, which needs mats to be effective after the fact. So he'll be in trouble there for the moment. At the same time, Marine collided with the other Milan inside this lobby and goes down. Milan, as a result, has to be the only trio member left with the potential to clutch. Wolfie's is going to be low. The server doesn't actually end up bouncing back. He has to run way past the zone. Only one tick will take him out, but everyone is basically waterfalling down without builds all the way to the ground. Yzip's there first towards the start of the zone. Tomsy picks up another, and Mongrel takes out Wolfies on rotation.
There it is, Milan here, who's trying to make a championship to his resume alongside with his 4 teammates of Chapix and Queasy. Milan right now working his way through, trying to shoot as many builds as possible. He sees Mongrel! Mongrel avoids, dodges all the bullets. Mongrel with just a sliver of just possibilities of making it any further survives that blast. Malbuka and Mongrel gets eliminated by Plains.
Plains had control of one of the layers of this tart, but at the same time, control's kind of dwindling from the hands of Sapphic. With Milan at the door, he goes down. Putrick will get a little bit of revenge.
Another Milan
at the same time, it'll be just him at default at the same time. Bobby's still alive down below. He's the one holding on to first place overall right now, accruing that placement. Putrick's not done. Takes out another, but every time he gets an elim, one of his teammates goes down. It's such a rough time, and now it's just him left. So many elims, though, all the way up to 7. Can he get more? Can they push all the way towards the sky on these boards?
Putrick holding on as much as possible. Valuable placement points. Every single one going down would be a 1 point accrued here. Now on the low ground. Does have a pad if he wants to get a little bit spicy. Gray getting knocked. Had to get back. The spice was too much. Putrick going down here as Salon and Milan number 2 and Kidu are sitting up at their height here with the possibility to get the victory royale. Backfeed, Zestin, the 2 left remaining from the Loot Boys here. Again, once again on the low ground. But like I mentioned, without their full trio and really low on resources.
Right now with 5 teams and 4 with 9 alive, it seems like there's so many fragmented trios all around. Clutches just waiting to happen. There is one trio left all the way on height trying to stop it. Backfeed will try to get that clutch rolling. FSI gets a huge pinch down with his team. Paco there too, stopped in his tracks, and Surprise will hold it down. Now it'll be a 3v3. Get the clutch storylines out of the way. We're looking for a battle. We're looking for a head match face off right now, and it goes straight towards the skies. Arianli's there. Every single person just flying in circles like some type of trance dance. Aria's already down at the same time. Milan is stopping it. The fly swatter in the air, looking for any other chances to stop any type of high ground retake. Lots of knocks happening at the same time. There's going to be 2 people left all the way on high ground. We went from a 3v3 down to a 2v2. Surprise is not stopping the retake though. At the same time, a double pump comes in from up top and down the side. It's Milan, Sinan, and Kidwo there with that victory royale.
Key duo right there in the victory royale. Very nicely done. What a great way to stop that pad. That was like a last second kind of like heap towards the height. Just to, you know, that mountain right there was causing problems, and all of a sudden they were able to stop that push. I like that little build fight that we saw here. What a great finish to the game too. Hey, and so far, Chayo, a theme that's building. So new fresh faces into the broadcast getting victory royales.
Oh yeah, we'll see exactly how that switches up. Even with the clutches we saw all the way towards the very end, from all the way like 3rd to 10th, it was like solo plays we were watching happen over and over again. I want to see what to make of that from the desk. Zeke, Levin, and Reese. How's this competition shaping up?
Well, Shy Wager, this goes the same way Fortnite always goes. Flipping and flopping, upside down, left and right. You know what I'm saying? It's always the craziness. First off, big congrats to Kudos, and Milan coming in 8 eliminations. So this was a very different game than game number 1, Levin and Reese. And I feel like one thing I can commend that like last game, something I've never seen before, is anytime Father Mountain is introduced and is like the final boss of your rotations, it just ends. Everything stops, right? And then one trio somewhere was like, let's just drop a pad. And then everyone was taking to the skies. Now, of course, Kino and Trio, they were prepared for it. That's why they got so many of those eliminations at the end. But that was still so cool.
Yeah, no, well, look, that's what sort of happened this season with, the reintroduction of pads into the meta. You will get that moment where it does just feel like the whole lobby has decided to pad. But no, look, sort of to what Shai was saying, yeah, there did seem to be a lot of these players who were sort of scrambling around as maybe a duo, as a solo. There does seem to be a lot of these teams who are struggling to keep all 3 alive. And we saw how well of a job, the actual winners were able to do in terms of being able to keep 3 people alive. Of course, when you're on height, that does get a bit easier, but still, they were able to win out the game. And look, they've been around for a while. I don't want to call them new, fresh faces, not necessarily people who you would have thought would do this well on this stage, but nice that they're actually doing it. They've taken the next step up.
Yeah, and Milan's living up to his name. It's Milan IWNL, I will not lose, picking up the victory royale in game number 2. So that's really huge for them. But look, for Aryan, Surprise, and FSI as well, 12 eliminations and that 2nd place. I think they got a little bit overconfident. We saw the fact that they were popping off on low ground big time, and then they went for that launch pad play, right? It's that we have the mats, we've got the numbers, we're going to pad on height, and obviously it didn't seem to work out for them. But given the fact that they still, despite the fact not winning that, Surprise was the one who was picked up in that final elimination. They came 2nd with 12, which is tons of points. So really well played from them overall.
Yeah. You don't always need the victory royale, right? Like sometimes it's okay to just hit 2nd place with a ton of elims. You're looking good. Now, if we look think back to game number 1, Kuro and his trio got the victory royale. And this is something that we talked about, right? Reese mentioned this was a 50-50 trio. And sometimes game number 1 is a great start, but game number 2 doesn't go that way, Reese.
Well, yeah, I want to just sort of stop this here, right? I'm going to stop this clip here because you can see Kylix landing. Obviously, this is Letshi here as well, Swilliam as well gliding in. And you might be thinking to yourself, I don't see anybody else here, right? What's going on? Well, these guys are indeed contested. The big problem is that their drops are just far superior. You can see Letshi's already dropped. He's been able to find an SMG. Hizix is only just landing now, and Letshi has an SMG in sight. You know what I mean? And this is what we always talk about with dropping off spawn. You can't afford for these things to happen, because when this happens, we know Letshi, one of the best controller players in the world. When he has an SMG, you've just landed, no hope for you. There's no chance you're ever going to be able to win that situation. And you see it again right here as well. You can see Geds, no chance. Look at this. He's not got a weapon. He's holding his pickaxe out. Kylix in the top corner. He's got a weapon. Letshi's taking shots as well. Off spawn, if your drop is not good enough, it's just all over for you. And you can see there with Kuro. Kuro just knew straight away, no chance on me. I'm not even going to get involved. My teammates can go down. I'm staying up. There's no chance for me. And it's the painful thing about off spawn, because these guys won the first game, right? Because they won their engagement, but then you don't win the first game, and look what happens. You drop from 1st place all the way down to 6th. So, off spawn, it can either go two ways. You know, you win off spawn every time, your day goes well, and all smiley fun time, or it goes like that 50-50, and you end up with, you know, a bit of inconsistency in your gameplay. Unfortunate for them that it's ended up that way, but nevertheless, we'll see what happens in game 3. Bagfeet, Zestin, and Hydro sitting in first place after that. Bloomy, Pablo, and Tomsy retaining a top spot, as well as Bobby, Versa, and Fly as well.
Yeah, we're kind of seeing those consistent teams come through, in particular, you know, Bobby versus Fly, who we've seen pop, not necessarily pop off, but just have that consistency, 3rd and an 8th all the way through. Ariane Lee from that big match alongside Surprise and FSI, they are flying up the leaderboards. If you look over that next page, you're going to see the teams. Mustache's team dropping down the leaderboard after a bit of a difficult game. Same with Stompy here too. And, you know, we did see that close to pop off, I would say, you know, solo attempt from Marine, but yeah, again, that's put them into 19th. They have to stay together as a full trio, like, you know, like Casters, and like we've mentioned already, the teams who are staying together as full trios are consistently keeping their way up until that first, up until that second as well, and everyone else is getting picked off when they're losing those members earlier on.
Sometimes that is not the tribute that you want to make, because it will cost you those points, the placement in the victory royales. Fortnite fam, we hope you're enjoying all the action. That's right, Battle Buzz be beeping. You know what we got to do. We're jumping back on board. We're going over with Sancho West and Shaw Wager for game number 3 of the semifinals.
The halfway point of the semifinals, and it just feels like it's all about the rising stars here, Sancho. Whether you almost win it in quals or it's your first time making finals, this is your day.
That's what I love to see about Fortnite, with the whole spirit of the opens, where anyone can come from anywhere to be able to compete, and at the same time get your moment to shine on the big stage here. And that's definitely what we've been seeing so far. New faces to the broadcast for this season, making an impact. But we go from those new faces there to the leaders of right now, and that is Hydro, Bagfeet, and Zestin. And what I got to say is, right now we're seeing a taste of what they could do if they did not run into Red Rush and Mappy and Asterios.
And when they got space to work with, they end up doing really well. I feel like they just go against the grain the way they end up playing Fortnite, right? It's always like they're doing the things you don't expect teams to fully do, and that doesn't usually work off spawn. But once you're in mid game, inside weird fights, inside third-party scenarios, or you're trying to navigate end game completely, if you're staying in the shadows, if you're doing things in different ways, that might be an advantage completely compared to the normal Fortnite trio.
So far, this trio has been a 2nd place finish with 6 elims and a 4th place finish with 5 elims, as Kylix right now, again, Q-Rose trio runs right into Swilliam and Kylix and Lecce. And I gotta say, you know, Swilliam comes from the Asian region. He's competing now with the EU, so that was a great pickup by that trio right there to be able to stop Q-Roll. But hey, it happens, man. It happens that fast. And that, hey, we were talking about in rehearsal, what is considered a loss in this battle royale? That is a loss. No points accrued, not able to keep up pace, a pace that you set yourself in game 1.
It's tough. A lot of the times it's just the patterns that we end up seeing, right? Overall, that's just what happens. At the same time, Q-Roll might be a trio, or, you know, that trio specifically might be a team that operates when they have northern zones, you know, better than usual. Right now we've seen something slightly central, and now something towards the south side, almost near Patty Corner. So we'll see that trio possibly try to climb back. 6th place now, kind of left in time. But for Pablo, Tomsy, and Bloomy, I mean, what an amazing display of skill last game as a duo to take out so many players inside the 5th and 6th zone. And from Bobby, Versa, and Fly, I think every single FNCS week, every single moment we're watching these guys in practice as well, it's just absolutely consistent. You know, their style of play, their placements. The thing is, they need to have a little bit more than just consistency if they want to see big success in the finals. Today, I feel like it'll be fine. They might not get first completely, but I don't see them dropping outside the top 6 with their safe plays and good rotations. Past that, though, I mean, this could be one of their last chances to practice any type of different strategies they want to bring into the FNCS finals.
Yeah, and that's the thing, you know, taking a look at the first opportunity that they had to qualify, they kind of slowed down. They had a 14th place with 1 elims. So there's a couple of games that they do have that they get those, you know, low placements and low elims. It's happened before. You talked about it. They just got to avoid it now. We're seeing Putrick and Wolfies here have 6 FNCS appearances. And so Putrick right now joining Safik and default out of Dirty Docs. One of those other trios that we said that might make it in top 6. Right now, they're sitting in 5th place. Moved up a lot on the leaderboard, considering that the last performance they moved up 7 slots. So Putrix, Safin, and Default, we have already seen make a ruckus, kind of pick on third parties and kind of the neighboring trios, but we have yet to see them kind of capitalize. And one thing for this trio that I'm watching, Shayo, is that the Russian slide that's happened in the previous heat with Irezumi's trio, where they slid out of the top 6 and they got sent down to the reboot. That could happen to Safix, who's been not just one of those what it could-has, really so close to qualifying in the previous qualifying weeks that we've been watching and casting.
Yeah, that week 3 was huge for them, but even if they do qualify, I'm just wondering what they do in early game. Because right now, all the power I'm seeing from them, all the momentum they start building in their game starts at Dirty Docks. And most of the mistakes happen after they leave this POI or try to be anywhere else around the map. We know that, there's a reboot round possibilities for the Kings of Dirty to stay here. It might still be open for them to have the option to have this POI. But if it's not Sancho, things are still up in the air.
I know you're a fan of real estate. There's a listing right now. It says Dirty Docks. It might be, there's the for sale sign right on the picket in the front.
I feel like even if Thomas, Flicken, and Us end up qualing, like if they qual, it's going to get off the market. I feel like people will still respect the fact that they're there and there's finals. I just don't see Sapphic being there looking to contest. They're there because it's open, right? There's no way they would qual and then honestly go for that contestation. I feel like that would be slightly foolish.
Hey, Sapphic, they got the money. They're ready to go. They're ready to purchase, at least rent Dirty Docks for this season's finals, which is at stake, everybody. It's the top 6 that gets into the finals. We already had 1 heat. Already 6 trios went through. If you do not qualify, you have to finish at least 17th place so you can get at least to the reboot round to have one more chance to get into the finals. And that is what's all on the line right now as we're seeing the scrum that's happening on this rotation for Steamies. Oh, just missed Wolfies. You almost had it, gave him a buzz cut on there on that Guardian Tower. I know Wolfies was feeling that one. So close.
I've seen it here just a few moments already. The edit from the back wall last game. Wolfies' shots in the first game to start off fights as well. He's one of the best openers, I feel like, in EU when it comes to fights or looking for picks. We'll see if he gets anything started with that sniper rifle in just a moment, because Malibuka, I mean, this trio is still looking to find a dominant footing so far inside these 6 games. From what I see right now, they're all the way in 11th place.
Yes.
With the 44 points. I don't ever see Malibuka, Mustache, and Shizo operating well when they're just, part of the pack. These guys like to be in that top 5, top 6 with a little bit of space. They will have to try to make that at least, I would say, by this game.
We're talking about storylines. What's at stake? Malibuka, Shiza, Mustache finished 7th place in the qualifiers. That was as close as they got, and we're seeing them changing here. Mosh as well. They're seeing the feed, child. They're seeing the VODs that they're doing in between games. They're understanding that there is a battle up there at that dish from Lecce and Q-Roll, so maybe they're trying to take advantage of that. And so last time we saw Wolfies, Milan, and Marine, they made so many different adjustments. One qualifier week, they're at Corny Complex. The other one to land at the Cami split. They try to push into Dirty Docks to try to aggressively take out Thomas HD trio. Didn't work out for them. I picked them to kind of qualify in that week that they were in the Cami split. I thought they would be able to execute that plan very well, and they didn't. And now they're here right now. It's still 25 points. Definitely not at the pace to qualify at this moment.
Their win con at the end of the day then might be to just try to have enough points for reboot overall. We'll see though.
But do you want that? Do you want to get to be set to reboot? Not at all. I know there's
at some point,
4 frames.
Yeah.
At some point, it is what it is.
Well, we gotta, but yeah, no, usually you want to be inside that top 6. I feel like by game 4 and 5, if you're not there, especially in game 4, if that doesn't go too well, you're on that pop off in 5, it might just be looking, hey, let's go for that 17th place. Let's just try to stay consistent.
It just takes 2 games, brother. 2 games. And we're at the halfway point here. So 2 games, it's all it takes for you to possibly make a pop off. And I think Reese already talked about it. That's, someone literally with 0 points, racking up 3 victory royales and be able to qualify here. So, hey, the path is possible here, as lies in here. As we've seen historically become someone that's always a tough out when it comes to lobbies here. We saw them clash with Taste and Trio in the qualifiers. Lizen, of course, coming from the console mobile part of the world, if you're trying to remember that kind of a name. And hey, right now, 34 points, a little bit better pace than Wolfie's Trio, but still not in the running so far for the qualifiers in the top 6.
You can kind of see the different pacing this game as well. A lot of the time when we were watching the first two, it was just chaos after chaos after fight after fight. Once you hit game 3, everyone was trying to do things or push the envelope a little bit. They stop. They try to look for that consistency. They try to look for the place where you get points. Usually the best way is making the end game. It'll be a little bit more difficult. The server will be stacked slightly even more. Fights won't stop though. Malabuka, the very crucial elimination. Dude, and time for that medkit.
Malabuka, I think, wanted that hit. I think he wanted the trade. Like, he understood, like, I'm not going to kind of get critical here. Or, you know, whatever firepower that person may have is just not going to be enough. And he just ate that. He just ate that and spit that right back. He ate the lead bullets and spit it back out. Just, he's bulletproof right now, man. That was very, I kind of got scared because I was like, that's just an open edit right there. Malabuka, Murstache, and Shizo are going to go ahead and take their spoils and move on through.
Ammunition pickup is huge for them to keep that pressure up towards the end game. Some of the things they love doing, no matter what layer they're on, moving beside Letchi towards the right side as well. Hydro also in the car. Backfeet and Seston, they find Cisse and they're like, okay, might be a good spot to base up, might be a good spot to have one trio below you that you can just dominate over and know that they can soak up a lot of the pressure coming in from all sides. And then at the same time, be automatically a layer higher, have a better vantage point for shots. And if these guys mess up beside us, that's a free true wipe as well.
It's like, oh, you're going to stop here? All right, we'll stop here too. We'll take on the breaks here. But hey, we're not stopping. The action's still happening here. This is a leaderboard. The Loot Boys are on top with 70 points total. Bloomy, Pablo, and Tomzy with the masterclass and in-game so far. Staying in the running with 69 points. Bobby Versa and Fly with 66 points. And we have Arian and Surprising FSC with FSI with 65 points right there. Go ahead and top 6 get in, and already Q-Roll, who slid on down to the 6th place after a victory royale in game 1, is out of this competition.
And for the entire board itself, we can honestly just count down from 70. It's that close over and over again from all places, right? Like, even as you go in from 5th to 10th, it's like 58 all the way down to 53, and then 44 all the way down to 38. So in terms of points, every single placement right now is just one elim away from changing for all these trios we're watching right now.
Yeah, you've seen Hydro getting knocked by JJ too. And one thing I was going to talk about, the way that game 3 vibes is game 1 and game 2, you try your playbook that we kind of talked about. You try it twice. The third time, you try something different, you mix it up, and maybe you're not too confident to kind of doing that game plan, and that's why we're seeing the little herky-jerky start right now in game 3. And you always know game 4, it even slows down even more.
I was talking about Cisse being the trio. Sorry.
All right. I was gonna say, I think game 4 is actually you throw everything at it, you go for it, you go full send, like you mentioned before.
Weird one.
Yeah, game 4 you go full send, then 5 and 6 is like, all right, we only have 2 more to go.
Like game 4 is the game where you spawn in and there's only 5 teams left alive, pretty much.
Yeah, that's
how crazy it gets. But over here, I was gonna assume that Cisse, their trio, might be the ones that have one player lacking or making a mistake taking damage. It seems that, yeah, before when Hydro got sniped, he made the mistake, and at Logan Trio, they didn't shut up. They didn't try to, toss some respect their way. They went straight towards the box, looked to capitalize. Cisse still there. Squint also still fighting. Backfeet kind of struggling to find a shot in there, at least get control of that ramp. Perfect edit from Cisse once again. Remix will finally put a pyramid over it, and that'll give some space between 2 trios.
Another low to, like a mini low to high ground engagement here, box to fox there, that we're seeing Cisse, who's joining Remix, and Squint, who's formerly partners with Sean VP, who is in this lobby as well. Cisse, last time we saw in the All-Stars, finished 13th place in that solo battle here. But now we have all our eyes on first place with Zestin, Backfeet, and Hydro, who, like I mentioned in the opening part of the broadcast, tend to push for hype, but we've been seeing them do really well on the low ground these set of matches.
They're also supposed to just have a nice living arrangement here between 2 different teams. Both just basing up, trying to see the sights. Suddenly, Paco, MXR, Gray are here now. Turns into a big party. We're straight into Suburbia right now. This is not the plan really for any of the trios here, but everyone needs that surge damage. The Loot Boys are way ahead of it. I would not assume that's the same for Squint and Greyside.
I love what they did. They just picked on those fights. They're trying to push them together. I love that meta that we're seeing. You know, it's the instigating. We've seen it time and time again, but I love that we actually got to saw it on the broadcast. All they wanted to do was just push that other trio into each other, satisfied with that, get that engagement. It's like they're matchmakers. Like, you go ahead. You fight each other. You get the and then they're out. And they went out on that pad. That was a great play right there to utilize that get the clean rotation. They won't get beamed in the back as they glided over. And then they could turn and burn and wait and pick up all the pieces after that trio scrum.
Yeah, they want to get in there, actually get their hands dirty with forming those relationships between different teams.
Yep.
On the other side, for second place, Bloomy, Pablo, and Tomzy, they're happy to just watch the romance. They don't want to get involved at all. They're just here for, you know, that nighttime flick.
Yeah.
Just the buddy cop romantic move. I don't know what genres it all falls into.
I feel you.
Right?
I feel you. They got the
action vibe,
popcorn. They got the blankets. They're vibing out.
They got the sniper rifles, which, you know, the classic Fortnite experience we're watching from a high ground base.
There it is. I was waiting for the reaction of the lobby here. It was a little quiet, and then all of a sudden a couple of shots ring out. Lecce is moving down below here. This is the halftime, half point of the set of 6 that we're experiencing all together. Thank you for joining us as Sapphik Putrik are right above Malibuka's trio. Malibuka, Shizo, and Murstache with 3 eliminations on Monster's trio that we saw that battle here. Now they're making their way through here for zone 3. They got a couple of people right behind them. 2 trios there as they're going to lead the way. A lot is invested in this rotation. And you already talked about that. They like to be instigators and they like to shoot shots across the way. And right now, they're just trying to get in with a peace of mind.
I think this is their ultimate hurdle, just 3rd to 5th. If they can make it past that unscathed, this will be a huge game for them to rack up points. Once again, they're just about 20 away from being in 1st. But if they're going to be at the worst base spot inside all these complexes, the ultimate low ground one where you don't have as many options, where you might have to be forced to move first a lot of the time, they'll be able to shoot up. At the same time, it'll be trouble for Malibuka to be able to get out. Sapphik, Putrik, Default, same kind of story here. All these trios are kind of rolling in today on the wave of consistency every single game. We're not seeing crazy pop-offs from all sides. The trios that are like Q rolls, Geds, and Hyzix, they get, you know, suppressed or kind of nerfed the next game. If this is the case, none of these guys can make any mistakes. The top 6 has to stay alive all the way kind of towards the very end, and we know that's never, ever usually the case.
Saw a piece of the Milan trio that won previously of Kiduo and Silnan. They're sitting up there, who previously got a victory royale, right above all that mess. Still keeping tabs on 1st place, who are sitting on the outside of this zone 4, just on the edge, doing exactly what they want. And they have their crosshairs on Fremok as he's making his rotation through. There's about 7 or 8 trios on the outside as Remix gets a knock on Pink. Surprise, you know, Pink and Stompy right there. I thought that would be something that we keep an eyes on coming from Lazy Lakes. Of course, Stompy coming in all the way from way back in the day of, well, I believe, what did he get an FNCS champion in, Stompy? Was this
Season X?
Was Season X, yes. Season X, Stompy right there. One of the only FNCS champions in this lobby, alongside with Mongrel, of course, coming from Chapter 2, Season 4. Thought they would do well today. Lazy Lake, uncontested. But so far, the only thing that they can hang their hat on is getting out Mongrel's trio in Game 1.
Oh, Stompy with Chinkin and Aqua all the way back in the day. That was the classic trio. Always fun to watch. I will see Versafly. Bobby's down. 71. I'm talking about that consistency. This is, I mean, I guess you can't spell consistency without Versafly and Bobby in terms of watching in the U trio with a teammate down so early. I mean, they did it as a duo before, I think in game 1 or 2. It went down to a solo with just Versa then all the way towards the very end. Starting that now is tough, and Fly getting beamed now too. That's way more than tough. The word for that doesn't even exist yet, and Flecken is almost making it a possibility. He's just trying to pop a mini there. Versa's not going to be able to even help or be in the conversation for that. Flecken, who had trouble, who got bullied, targeted on the zone line before, is the one to learn from that mistake and reversed it. He played that card and actually picked someone else up that made his mistake before. That's a nice learning experience there for him. First though, he's about to show us, Sancho, how you can clutch first place without any materials. Check it out right here. So you gotta back a little bit to the left and right.
No.
That's I clicked on the wrong video. My bad. Yeah.
Roll credits. Roll credits there on game 3 right there from Bobby Flying Versa. But that means the top 3 is already one out. One's of them are out. Backfight, and of course, Bloomy's, the other 2 trios in the top 2 are still out. And Bloomy actually gets knocked. So our top 3 seems to be another theme that's been forming in these as Pablo's down to a solo. The top 3 cannot seem to hold on in these EU matches all the way from the qualifiers. Now it's making its appearance here in the semifinals on the broadcast.
I honestly want, like, because we don't know like how Storm Surge is actually dealt down, right? Because for me personally, I just imagine like some dude somewhere on the island or maybe in the skies,
it's
like,
Zeke.
in a little room. It's Zeke in game, man.
Zeke.
That's the theory. That's the theory.
Yes.
Like I just want like a Fortnite short of it, right? We got the Jonesy ones in the past of a dude just pulling a lever and watching these trios suffer. But even if it's Zeke, I want to see Zeke doing it in game, maniacally laughing the whole time. That would be the content.
Hey man, that is definitely a Fortnite theory as Pablo is feeling the rain down below. Pablo is one of the top 2 here, armed with 9 peppers. He's petrified. He ain't afraid of this rotation as he's making his way through. Look at the complex of builds. He's gonna make his way, and he is still feeling the after effects. It is as the acidic reflux from all these peppers is barely keeping him alive. Oh, he's going for this engagement, and out he goes. Just too spicy. Why is it spicy? Well, my man, you ate 9 peppers, so that leaves 1 top 3 trio on their feet. And hey, they got peppers as well, but they only have to. I got to be worried about that moving Storm Surge in the 30s, considering that they're just above this one at the 50-man mark.
I've never seen someone
just down
out-heal Surge with like that many peppers before. I've seen it like as a desperate attempt at like 75 HP, but to be that low and just chug all the peppers in there, I mean, hey, you gotta, I guess, but man, that's desperation.
Oh man, this reminds me of that great comedy where the guy accidentally eats peppers on a hamburger and he gets eliminated right then and there. He tried his best here, but unfortunate. But hey, a new surprise. No, I had to take that one. A new surprise for today's performance is 73 points, and it is Arian and FSI doing really hot. And I like this play, able to pad over to the storm line, and they're going to push on through. Everyone has to go through them, and they have some great sights on everybody on their late rotation. The only thing is, again, Storm Surge becoming a factor.
And the way this is actually shaped out, I've seen so many lazy late, like, reconstructions and creative zone wars. It's kind of feeling like that type of zone right now. It feels like I'm watching practice, and yeah, they're kind of be stopped inside their way. Eventually, they were trying to greed and maybe stay on that layer for the rotation, forced to pad all the way towards the front, but most people would choose low ground. These guys stay up high. They were on low before too, but hey, FSI, Ariane Lee is surprised. They're going straight towards the skies.
Going straight towards the skies here, and it is Skype, Leo, and Etsy who has control of the height. We've seen them before get a victory royale in the qualifiers. This could be a great chance to do it in the semifinals. As you see Mariah getting eliminated, you see a lot more names, Patrick and Default getting 2 eliminations for their trio, but we're on board here with another solo performance here. The last remaining member of Flecken's trio is Kumu, holding on with 79 points here. Another one in the top 10. This is 7th place here in the running, and every valuable placement point is on the line.
Little alien outfit.
I like the vibe.
He's got the drip needed, but does he have the skill from this point onwards? It'll be very difficult. Double med kit play to get the placement. It's genius. Leo, Sky, and SD. They will control high ground for now. Triple still alive somewhere on the layers. The CL trio with Centric in tow is there in mid ground, causing a little bit of a ruckus. And Bagvies, S and Hydro, I mean, they're just looking to push first place way far away from anyone else.
Luke Boys looking for the advantage. They see the purple strikes down below, trying to find that bullseye target. They see it. They see all the purple all around them. So they're desperately trying to take up as much real estate down below, looking for double edits. So far, no one is kind of traversing underneath them, deciding that. But hey, they got great position here on the front side. You see Kylix on the right. They're going to try to take up that lane right now. No connections as Orion here just lighting up the feed, because a couple eliminations, 3 eliminations, and Kiko self-eliminates right there. But hey, oh my! They're almost had it. They had some control, and now Backfee's in trouble. He's on the full retreat. The back foot collapses underneath the pressure as Patrick, Default, and Sapphik here are moving up the board. They're skyrocketing at the right time. Yes! Sapphik with a huge connection right there on Swilliam.
Sapphik, Patrick, and Default, the embodiment of the stop sign in this game. They're not letting any trio go by on high speeds, and at the same time using big dashes of their own to get inside these boxes, land the big shots from different angles. Sapphick's getting pulled down 24/7 and still hitting those big 100 pumps. Oh no, misses a shot though. Fremont knocked inside one of these boxes, but two teammates traded, and it's all up to Default now.
Default with the pickup on MXR. He has the chug cannon. I was about to pull out there. Some great play. 12 eliminations here, 104 crossing into the triple digits, and they may be able. This performance right now could be that start here. Etsy and Skite and Leo have it. Leo and Skite are the dogs sitting down below to dig their way through for as many eliminations as possible. As you're seeing this zone kind of pull away from all these builds here, and as you're seeing Default with only 4 builds does not have enough. He's gonna have to try to catch somebody on the way down, or maybe push down here. He goes in, he doesn't connect. No, that whiff of the shot cost him, and Artie and his duo mate were able to pick that up. This is going to be definitely a big advantage here for Etsy, Leo, and Sky to walk away with the victory royale.
They kind of keep the entire server all the way down low, suffocated inside the zone. No one makes it up the hill. Leo now left all the way in the back. SD, he has the heal game. It doesn't matter. They take it into their own hands. Skite wipes out everyone on the low ground, and they take one of the most impressive wins we've seen so far.
Very impressive of D, Skite, Etsy, and Leo get that. And you know what? I'm going to go back. Let's go back. Leo's full name. Leo the Crack right there is able to get that victory out. Nicely done. But hey, we saw so many trios, Shio, getting a lot of eliminations. We had double-digit elims, about a couple of trios out there.
No, honestly, this was the game of endgame elims, of just making sure as a team you can pop off and dominate anyone outside your boxes. I feel like the CL-centric boys were a very good combination of that.
I was going to have to say that they were able to, we were kind of keeping tabs on them. Dirty Dogs are saying what they're able to do. Are they going to purchase that? And they did. And hey, we got more breakdowns here after that game. Let's kick it to the analyst desk for more.
Thank you guys so much. So this one's going to be a little bit different, boys and girls, because this is game number 3, which means we're going to be checking in with the other heat in just a moment. So very quickly, what we want to do is take a look at our standings, see how things are going right now. Okay, after game number 3 in our heat, we've got Sapphik. That's right, it's Default and Patrick. They've got 104 points right now, Levin.
Perfectly balanced. As all things should be. Sapphik, Default, and Patrick in first place. I was waiting for it to happen, to be honest. I was eventually waiting for it to happen. And like the caster said, a brilliant display there in that final game. Well, not final game, hopefully not final. In that third game. Look, I think they would have wanted it to go a bit better, but nevertheless, it's a great foundation to build off of. And when you're sitting in first place, it's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad, but Bobby's game that time dropped a little bit down all the way into 7th, but for Arian's team, they've popped off big time, managed to kind of keep that all the way up until 2nd. Same with the Loot Boys, they went out. Loot Boy boys, I know that the caster said it much better than me, but they've kind of, we saw them be eliminated in what was kind of an unfortunate way there to our current leading team. So, a couple games, they're going to have to kind of catch up again.
The Loot Boy lads.
Loot Boy lads. I like it. I like it. Okay, so let's check in on this other heat. So we've actually pulled the first 3 victory royales, so we can actually see how these first game went, and then we'll take a look at the standings. So I'm curious to see how this goes for Stir6, Battle, and Crizzy.
Well, yeah, this is obviously a team who we know they have, a lot of ability. They know how to play the game to a degree. I've seen top players refer to Stir6 as being the best tarp in the game, but they were finally able to win the first game of their heat. A great way to start, Reese.
Yeah, and then the next one was come from Jams, Force, and Nifs. No, we saw Force in another one. There's multiple forces on this region, but honestly, this match for them was very, very tough for them, sitting up on high ground yet again. But once you've managed to collapse those teams down below, you can get in the third party. They did a good job just noticing that, dropping down, and just picking up those good eliminations.
And then a team who I sort of feel has almost gone unmentioned for the majority of this season, Floki, Clement, the Sips, was a team who was phenomenal last FNCS. and hopefully going to be able to show what they can do in this season's finals. As you can see, Floki, a bit rough there, right? When both your teammates go down in that manner, but he's got ice in his veins. He's got the composure, and he was able to drop down, and this is not how I wanted to end. Anyway, I did think that, I thought that ended a bit differently, but nevertheless, you can see they're sitting there in first place, right? Not too shabby, not too shabby. 93 points is all good. And Amplify Matzo and ADN in second place. If those guys were to make it to the finals, that would be incredibly interesting, right? Based off of how things ended with them last season when playing with Benji.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's going to be really, really key to see over the next 3 games. And that win that we just obviously thought was going to go to Floki come in actually went to Shakos, Skyzoo, and Bad Sniper too with 11 eliminations. That's what's put them down into that 7th place. So they've moved up big time from that. So they're close to qualifying. Remember, the qualifying threshold is top 6 after the 6 games. Easy to remember. So for these teams, they're definitely on the boundary so far after that kind of first half.
I love it. I love it. That is the check-in we need. Now, remember, we're going to check it again with them at the end of game number 6. So we'll know the full list of trios going into finals. We'll know the full list of the ones heading on over to the reboot round. That is tomorrow. We've got about 45 seconds, guys. Super quick thoughts. How you feeling after games 1, 2, and 3 so far?
I want to see things ramp up. I want to see things ramp up a bit. You know, I think a lot of teams have been going down. There's been a lot of fights going on earlier on in the game. I think people are really struggling with Surge still. Crazy to think now about semifinals, but nevertheless, right? You know, we got to weed out some of the weak links, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's true, right? We want to see some of these games pick up the pace a little bit, right? We want to see those top teams that we've been looking at potentially catch up, because right now, you know, there's a lot more teams that I don't think the majority of us have predicted that are currently up there in that top 10. You know, obviously apart from Levin's pick, let's be real. But outside of that, you know, we've seen most of the other predictions, maybe just me, it's not hitting up so well. So hopefully we'll see a little bit more.
Oh, we'll see, man. Hopefully. All right, we're going back into game. Shy West, Sancho, good luck. I'm going to continue to pull this lever and destroy people with Storm Surge.
Well, that's my bucket list for 2021 cleared. Sancho, this is all you now, man. I'm done.
Hey, it's all me, it's all show, but Zeke is reigning terror over everyone's Storm Surge. But hey, man, game 4, Shio, I'm excited to see what's going to be it's the full sin game, like you mentioned, man.
Levin and Reese were right? Like, we had this knob of safety basically turned up to 11 for a lot of these teams. I want to see that crazy knob turned up to 25 out of 10 past early game. Right now, we see Q-Roll actually clapping back on the Lecce over at that dish station, just kind of farther away from the Dirty Dog POV we can see on the minimap right now. Geds also gets that full elimination, and Kylix takes them out towards the flying we're watching on Sapphire right now. These guys will have this POI for free, but around the map, Sancho, things are still dropping down for some of these lower place teams.
Yeah, we're seeing Ziandi and Juan's trio, who are having that battle down in the Defiant Dish area in the centralized mountains. Are the entire time here, they've been going back and forth, going out of here. And now, you know, Safik, Default, and Patrick here, we have seen them in this position before, Shio. We've seen them with the ability to qualify within striking distance. I know the difference in the qualifying stage and the semifinals is a top 3 versus top 6, but still, that Russian slide could definitely happen.
I think I'm worried about, though, is that, yeah, they can qualify. It just seems like they are trying really hard right now and still not kind of, you know, making that mark of fully dominating. Like, it's one thing to qualify in the semis, but it's another to look at a team inside the semis and say, yeah, they can hit a top 5 performance in the finals, right? These teams that are confident, that are shoe-in quals, like Safix, you know, like Tomsies, like, you know, for some people, Wolfies on the side of Bobby, Versa, and Fly as well. If the expectation there is for them to, you know, easily make it out of semis, I want to see something that makes me confident and wanting to root for them in the finals as well.
Top 6 gets in. This is the first time in EU that a season has back-to-back games won by contested teams. So we've already been seeing a change in a little bit as Kiduo gets an elimination on Wolfies. That was huge right there. Wolfies, Milan, and Marine are just trying to get into that striking distance here. This is a team right here with 80 points within that distance to get into the top 6 here. Because I know Flecken does not want to go through the reboot round again. I mean, you survived something like that once. There's no way you want to go through it again.
I feel like Diablo and Bayon were a huge factor as well. The synergy that they had with Flecken to be able to go for those niche wins, those circumstances where they can clutch. Now, though, that, you know, new wave of obscurity in terms of playing the game offbeat. I gotta hand it to Backfeet, Zestin, and Hydro. They're the ones really bringing it in, and you can see the difference when they have lots of, you know, super top tier finals teams in their lobby, the way they navigate. Over here, they're a little bit more inside their element, inside a space where they can flaunt a little bit and go for control. Once again, these next 3 games, if they're on pace and it looks good right now, the next 3 should be planning and practicing things they're going to be implementing in finals. They should be acting right now like they're already qualified, and they are. I feel like these guys are shooing for top 6 the way they've been playing. It's just how much can you really grab out of the experience of playing semifinals? How much can you be ready for the ultimate lobby of the season?
And that ultimate lobby is going to have Aqua's trio, who's already claimed the stage to Boney Burbs, and hey, maybe Red Rush, Mappy, and Asterios maybe there. I don't think we're going to get 3 trios contesting Boney Burbs. It's just not enough loot to spare 9 people. So we'll see. I mean, there's always been rumors that already that Aqua is already thinking about moving, but hey, who's to see? I mean, considering Red Rush and former FNCS champion as well, it could be that could be one of the things you talk about. They have to try to find a way, like, can we dominate this semifinals, like you said, and be able to put some statements at least to those other 2 trios are winning in the wings.
Sometimes you watch these guys battle it out in quals. You'll see the likes of a legendary trio with the, you know, with Aqua in it at Boney versus an up and comer like the Loop Boys. But once you get towards the finals, the guys who qualify through the quals, the legends, they get their space, right? These guys are not looking to hit finals and then use Boney. Looking to hit finals and go for any free spot. I think that's the goal for a lot of trios right now, other than Sapphic, because apparently Corner Sancho West and a lot of other people too, 30 docs.
Whoa.
It's on the market.
I am basing what I'm seeing just on results. That's all I am doing.
And I respect it. I kind of agree. Like, it is one of the POIs where, you know, if I'm also a trio in EU that's up and coming, that's landed dirty for qual 3 and now popping off in the semifinals, if I'm Sapphic and I see Thomas HD struggling in the heats, I would contest it too. I mean, that's true up for grabs.
Look, okay, there's your first look at the Storm, but everybody out there, let's just hop on this wave for a bit here. A team that's come in 3rd, 2nd, and 4th, you would think they'd be able to qualify their way into the finals the following way. Everyone's like, okay, hey, first place, no doubt, it's going to be the next thing that you're going to knock out of your bucket list, Thomas HD and Austin Foot, and it doesn't happen. So when that doesn't happen, you start saying, what's going on? That's all I'm going to say.
So here's the thing, right? You are looking at, when it comes to Thomas HD and Austin Flick, once again, they're not inside this heat, but they have a big say in terms of how people in this heat can play the finals.
Yes.
When you look at that trio, they are the exception to the rule of, you know, being able to qual earlier on. This is the team that not only performs better in late game, but performs better the later the competition goes. They're a back 3 games team. They're a team that struggles in quals and heats if they ever are there. We haven't seen them there in a long time. Once they hit the finals, Sancho, they're a different beast. Finals, Thomas HD, Flick, and Nas, you cannot mess with. They never fall off there.
Talk about the ultimate tease, because they will be seen in the reboot round, and they will have 4 chances to be able to stake their claim back and become the kings of Dirty Docks once again. So we're going to leave that story, jump back to this surprise story. I don't know how many times I want to dip into this well. It's just too easy. 2nd place team right here with 101 points. As seen Letwick pick us up a knock on Derby.
We must resist.
Yeah, we must resist.
They've been a surprise today. I mean, every single time we're watching like a active POV that's kind of in trouble or looking to do things for their squad, it's been these guys. And that's all throughout early game and late game as well. So I haven't been able to tune in properly and see FSI Surprise and Arian Lee breaking down. And honestly, we might not even have gotten the chance in any of the call weeks. This could be a series point only, you know, runner-up coming in. They've had a very good showing today. I like the flavor I'm seeing of aggressiveness. I'm just wondering how well that translates once you have, you know, the super teams in your lobby.
Okay, but for real though, the big surprise is the people that are in the top 6 are literally, they don't have a Victory Royale to their name right now. The teams that are in, they got the Victory Royale so far. They're in that reboot round stage, and that right now is going to be the surprise that I'm going forward to see who's going to be in that top 3 or the top 6 team to get that Victory Royale to push them into the finals.
For Sapphics, I mean, you can see the way they like to win on screen right now. It's when the full team is basically alive. A lot of the times, the reverse 2K of playing the game, you know, where you have the rocket ship that loses a few of its parts, kind of like getting into end game and then getting knocked down reverse first, then maybe day goes down, and it's Miro all the way, you know, finally near the moon popping off. that situation is not there for Staffing. They always work things like a team. 2 people beaming and then Default running through with a truck below the space. And then they break down the full 3-way pinch as well. Milan in trouble, but sometimes they go in too close to bite. Putrick taking a lot of damage. Staffing now on half shields too. They'll take a pause for it, but they need this fight. They need this damage to be ahead of that surge.
Maybe the thing that be too risky. A lot of arrows looking their way through into this engagement. You have Wolfies, his trios on the outside as well. It's a very tough position to be. This is our another, again, first place. And if they want to shake the woes of the previous EU region qualifiers, they cannot go down. We've already saw in game 3, the top 3 go down early. And you're seeing that everyone's pretty satisfied with their positions, understanding that the zone's about to come in. And now they wait patiently to see when the next safe zone is being revealed. And it's far away from them.
Very far. This is very good for Default, Staffing, and Putrick to be all the way up top. They can look for any openings for people moving and actually bait people to move as well. If they snipe over towards the right side, C9 and Kidwo are one of our game winners. It might entice the left side to feel like they have an opening to move as well. And then over there, they can get a free pick. Unfortunately, there's a tree block in the way. And at the same time, Sancho, this is the craziest thing. I just realized we're in game 4, and there's still 30 teams alive. This is not the crazy, wacky game we're used to seeing week after week after week in the quals. Everyone here is holding on. The name of the game, you said it, the top 6, they have 0 wins, right? It's all about consistency.
And right now, the consistent team is a trio. I just had a very cool idea. Think about it. Instead of that white line, imagine if it was a red line to show you that you're very far. And the closer you got into the safe zone, that line turned like blue, let you know you're getting closer and closer. You know, if you're way out there, you got a crazy rotation, it's hot red. Let you know you're in some troubled waters. The closer you get into the zone, the safe zone, it turns blue. Let you know things are cooling down for you for the moment. I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead, write it, put it in the suggestion box. Let's see where it goes.
I like it. I mean, QOL could definitely be higher. It limits the amount of caps lock presses people end up typing to their keyboard. Do you have that bind too? Caps lock for map, or you
got a controller?
Oh, you know, a controller. What's the controller for map?
It's on the D-pad for me. You know, put it on the D-pad.
Okay, respectfully. Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
So you gotta have that close, especially in a BR like Fortnite. 100% for this game. You gotta know exactly where your position is at all times. Once again, for the Loot Boys, they're looking at other teams more so than anything else. They're looking to hide in the shadows whenever they can. Cheeky snipe from back feet. Doesn't connect. Okay, they finally get a little bit of damage. It actually goes back to unresponded. Usually in that type of edit, you see teammate take maybe a shot to the head or body, but that won't be the case for this trio. 5B kind of troublesome though. This is the 3rd game in a row too, Sancho, where it's Gray and MXR on the Loot Boys box again.
Yeah, and what you're trying to see is the Loot Boy trio trying to slow them down. They don't want them to have that position right above them. That's why you're seeing, I believe, that's Hydro kind of building just a little bit more in a cleaner layer, because they understand there's another trio around this scrum here. It's going to get a little messy. So they're trying to just get above a little bit of cleaner air right now, because this air right here is very dirty. And so that's what you want to see. I've been in that position before. You know, you're trying to set up a base, and all of a sudden a trio just starts pushing you. In the blink of an eye, they're right on top of you. But some great kind of positional defense that you're seeing from back by Zest and Hydro, sending those bullets to let them know you're not going to get it free, letting that other trio that was pushing over just to get into their hard mats and dip into that from Gray MXR.
Every single person, every single team wants their space, absolutely. And right now, Fleck looking to invade.
This is weird. Like, what's so valuable about this area? It's not a high point advantage.
They just need a fight. It's just the surge that's active
that's
on
what
their
I'm saying.
screens.
Yeah, that's right. They're getting closer and closer to the box fight. And Default right here again. I said you had to avoid this situation. Now you got someone stuck in the box, and that box is going to be something that gives you a moment to breathe, to get a waiver. No points right now, Shayo. They haven't got a placement point. They haven't got an elimination point. 104 is what they came into this match, and they may leave this one with 104 as well.
That would be disastrous. They want to look to keep up with the lobby and have their space. We saw this exact thing basically happen
with Q-Roll.
In Q-Roll, and also for these guys in Qual 3. I mean, they had 3 good games rolling in, and then 3 games where things started to look iffy all the way towards one of the halves time we were watching there in literally 3 of the games in qual number 3.
And that trio of Leo, Sky, they got the victory royale in the previous one. They're not going to let you go. We've seen them chase Tayson all the way from the meadows out there north of Holly Hatchery into Believer Beach. That trio is aggressive. They're going to want that elimination points. And the moment that default is sniffed out, Etsy, Leo, and Sky are going to send beams their way. And hey, he has 3 med kits. He could sit here as long as he wants, honestly. He's just got to dip into as much as possible. And if he could get to that top 25, that's 5 placement points right there. Very valuable medkit play from default right here in the mid game.
Gonna try for it.
That's 1.
SD looks for a little bit of a better angle, but then there's a new trio or duo actually coming in. He's looking for something.
That's what I feel like. Ooh, you gotta watch out, man.
Full 25 seconds of time to buy right now for this young lad as well. It's not going to be possible. So awkward seeing default on a passive angle as well. Every time he's clutching Sancho, it's like he just wants to be inside the box, landing with that pump. Sky, SD, Leo, they fly away. This could be it.
And it is it for Bloomy's trio. Pablo and Tomsy eliminated. Top 6 is out, and I saw Shizo getting eliminated in the feed. So the big people are on top, maybe playing a little too close to their chest here as Storm Surge now makes their appearance, and the maniacal laugh of Zeke echoes throughout the lobby.
Wow.
Oh, it's hitting hard.
Definitely is. Scaldo, I mean, he's clutched before. In number 2, these guys, so where's the limelight? Can they stay inside? The brightness, though, is the question, because right now, Surge taking with people in front of their boxes, it's very difficult for them. Default finally goes down.
I told you, default, no doubt, met it up, used the pad, trying to follow that flight path that Sky, Leo, and Etsy just not have enough premium gas in that fighter jet to survive. And now the number 1 spot gone, number 6 got gone, top 6 advances as we saw the stat earlier. Scully here, when he's on his feet, was able to lift up his entire trio. A lot of placement points there. So now they're in the top 5. So this is number 5 spot sitting right now with about 80 points, and hey, they're within the striking distance of top 3. I know top 6 is the one you want, but it feels good to be that number 1 spot in your heats going into the finals.
That's where you have confidence, against all the big teams. That's where everything you've practiced didn't just make you straight by, but made you have a good chance against all the heavy hitters.
And that's where Queasy, Trulix, and Jerky, they finished the number 1 spot. They let everyone know, hey, they could actually do this. And it was in the semifinals. Like, that trio, they literally didn't do anything last season in the qualifiers. They were kind of, will they qualify? And they show up in the semifinals, get number 1 spot. They take that momentum into the FNCS championship.
Looking for that star story again from any team here today. But I feel like Backfeed, Zest, and Hydro kind of have that energy. They're not even close to first. I mean, third is kind of close, but they still have a little of a ways to go. Sapphic down, though, and possibly surprised to follow. I would be a little bit flabbergasted if that was the case. I mean, they've made almost every single end game. The point is, though, these guys still have a little bit of chance. Just need that extra bit of a push or a bit of a change. Still, as a duo, I don't think that is their kind of strong suit in operations. Just like Sapphic trio, I feel like they play very well and get a lot of their points when all 3 members are alive. Maybe that end game is where they can clutch. But even then, they operate as a 3-man squad.
I just want to rewind a little bit. Remember, default, he went down before the placement points. So still 104. Did not get those 5 points.
True.
We just crossed into that threshold. We're about to cross into where 5 placement points will be doled out here. The next one will be at the 17 mark, and I believe at 10. So it won't be 5, but it would be a little bit more than that 1 piece kind of placement point. This is 25 and 17 is the next threshold where single placement points will be kind of doled out into that top 10, and then it placement points doesn't matter here because that's what's keeping our top 6 in the running, considering that none of them got a victory royale.
If one of them does end up getting a win, though, that'll be huge, not only for the tiebreakers, but just in general, staying ahead of everyone else inside the competition. A weeping zone, and this time not in the trees. Every time we're towards that north side, height is the one that ends up dominating. So whoever controls the higher point in the lobby right now, they might be at a huge advantage. Kowalski already and Belusi, they're not in that perspective right now. Going to be forced towards being just a low ground team for the moment. They'll have their fights kind of laid out for them. So many people next to their boxes. You saw the way Tomsy cleared them out before. It's not going to be the same for Artie. He goes down already. Kowalski also gone, and Belusi deleted in an instant as well. Talk about return to sender. I mean, these guys just got melted.
Fourth place already sent out, express style of this lobby here, as the lobby focus is now pushing into this section that we're watching here. We're seeing Skype, Leo, and the distance here. We still see the I think a surprise FSI here. Second place is still in it. And again, here comes Storm Surge. It's been a big factor today. We've been seeing a lot of people getting closer and closer together. It looks like the Bag Fee and Hydro are just above it here, but they're looking to get some eliminations, considering that when that moving 30 Storm Surge, it's going to be a big problem as Bobby gets an elim in the feed.
That surge, the moving 7-zone surge, is the
monster
issue for the entire community right now. They're having lots of struggles being able to survive it in the semifinals today in every single heat. It seems like for Hydro, 90 damage above, it's good right now, but as Sancho said, will not be enough moving forward. 337 Scali, that's good still, but
it's pretty good.
Even this damage might not be enough if they don't stay active as they move.
Here is the move on a max pull rotation, a half in, half out. No one sitting up perched, looking at the beams their way. So this is going to be a clean rotation. Yes, scot-free and clean, looking nice. Now they're going to try to stop anyone from kind of moving up above a layer, and that's the non there moving their way up to the mid ground. And let's go see where it all goes down. Everyone tries to chill for a minute, as a lot of people went down on this rotation, considering 2 more need to go down. So Storm Surge won't be necessarily be a factor, as Mongrel gets a knock on Bag Fee. Mongrel with a nice one right there. This could be the moment, the kind of ignition, the ignite Mongrel's run.
A Mongrel, Slender, Kiko, wherever they are, this has to be the turning point for them. Anywhere. Dead center for the moment, looking to find a way to get things going. Hydro, though, 97 points. Looking to make it at least triple digits while surviving. I mean, 3 more trios would need to go down. He has no med kits to make that off-field play, and there's a max zone to move as well. This launch pad with a burning tree above you, I mean, direct to white HP damage to it, finally ends up turning off. It's fine now. Will this man be able to survive? 3-4 AR shots will take him out. There's a full trio of Mongrel, Kiko, and Slender. 1 elim so far only, which is also uncharacteristic. Usually Kiko has 3 or 4 by now, but without anyone contesting them, it's all about the end game. Skite has height a second time in a row. Mongrel's the one that'll be right below them just for now.
I was about to say, Mongrel needs to get his Portugal passport. Right? He might be a citizen right now because he was in the heart of Portugal right there with all the other trios right there from Portugal, alongside with his teammates of Slender and Kiko. Mongrel now gets a couple of tags here. Is going to retreat back into the box. It is kind of fight. I like this right now. They're together. They're in the box. We all know that sometimes, you know, Mongrel can lead astray or kind of be aggressive, but that was season 4 Mongrel. This is a totally different Mongrel. Mongrel right now who's trying to make a return into the finals. Like I mentioned, it's been since November 1st, 2020, since we've seen Mongrel in an FNCS championship.
We'll see if he can make it in this time. Hydro's taking matters into his own hands for about 5 seconds. Nice attempt. Good try. 97 is what he's going to have to use to just scrape by in that game number 4. Now we'll see FSI, Earnly, and Surprise, the only ones who are really left inside that top 5, looking to see if they can take over first. They already have with the 112. They're not going to be the first place trio for now. 16 teams left. This is replacement starts. 58 damage above. Sky's still on height for the moment. It'll be trouble for them to find anything looking towards the skies.
Now, I saw Sky's trio kind of set up around zone 4, going into zone 5. They were kind of setting up for this high play, and it's definitely worked out, as Lecce is the first time appearance in the end game. Bobby picks an elimination right there. Kiduo gets one on Mosh, but now we're watching here another big time team that could get away and qualify is right here. I think this game, if they were able to get into a top 3 finish placement points wise style, that's going to be a great start to solidify their placement in the top 6.
Right now, they're trying to push things forward the whole way through. And at the same time, Scotty, Flecken, and Kumur, they're also looking pretty good right now. FSI takes a huge trade, not that well in his favor, but at the same time, as the Siphon from one of the men who fell down below before. Now going for the full retake, but do not, never mind the 180 tack shots there. And FSI, height might be his. No, from the left side, Letwick, he's there with the prime time insurance. He takes him out. There's a huge fight towards the back. Wolfie's still alive with Letwick, who just scrapes by at 10 HP. We have new height kings for the end of this game.
Fremok eliminated Surprise and Mongrel, and that is what gave him the height right now. As we see Scally here on the backside making his way through. He's going to be able to try to hold on as much as possible here to get those very valuable placement point. Pink, Bobby pick up Elims in the feed.
From 18th to 5th from Scally in game 2. Now from 5th to possibly 2nd place. The solo clutches this man is doing might be enough to just send his team directly to the finals if he has one more, but it'll be in the face. It'll be in the presence of Bobby, who's desperate on low ground, of Fremok's trio, who's active on height, of 4 other teams with both of those as well, who are still alive, and he goes down now in 6th place. Squint will take him out. What a run, though, and Bobby will look to beat 107 points to get in the 2nd place after game 4. Another solo clutch we're watching. He's grabbing mushrooms off the ground. He's looking for slurp charges. He survives another placement point, but now he'll have to hit those shots, and he does. Get the siphon. It's not fast enough. Nevs, he stays alive for too long, and now Pink, he's kind of in that blender of low ground remix. He's found a little bit of safety for Letwick and Wolfie. This is almost free. A big pickup on the remix. Pink now inside the zone. There's still too much time left, 35 seconds. These guys don't even have to play a heal game. Pink will have to find 17 slurp cannons to make it equal. So they beam him out, they clap back, and that retake won them the whole game.
Oh, watch out. Wolfie's, Letwick, and Fremok. Well, 12 eliminations and the victory royale. Hey, I saw Fremok stop beating that feed. When you're on that left side of the feed, you start rolling through, and we all know that once Fremok starts cooking alongside with his trio mates, they do really well, and that was a big game from them. They're getting closer and closer to those triple digits, Shio.
Yeah, they've been waiting 3 weeks for that game, that one time to be towards the limelight, to be towards. Yeah, we all have, honestly. So it's great to see them there. The thing is, though, the people who are winning these days, Sancho, the next few games are that much harder for them. So we have to see if they have enough to clap back.
I gotta say, though, you know, Fremok's one of those ones, if they get a victory royale, they will get eliminations to boost their victory royale. We've been seeing throughout the entire day the victory royales kind of trickle in, but that one was a huge downpour of points that's gonna skyrocket them on the leaderboard. But speaking of the leaderboard, let's go ahead and kick it to the desk with Zeke, Levin, and Reese.
Thank you guys so much. Excuse me, absolutely incredible game so far. I got so excited there, my voice cracked. All right, well, who knew that was still a problem? Hey, Wolfie, Letwick, let's go, baby! This legendary trio, the trio we've been waiting for. They did it, Levin, they did it!
Finally, you know, we talked about how explosive they were, and look at that, it's 16 elimination Vic Roy. Look, that's exactly what you expect out of these guys, and I am really looking forward to seeing where this puts them on the standings, because that's not something we've seen much of today. Like that, genuinely, I've been searching for a team to give me a game like this, and they finally provided it for me. 16 in the Lim Victory Royale. Really, really exciting stuff.
Yeah, and you know what's funny about that is I've been seeing a lot of tweets on Twitter during that match. The fact that Fremok's sitting shooting an SMG 400 meters at someone out of the sky trying to get Storm Surge tagged. But look, hey, it's worked. It's worked out for them. But clearly, that's the secret strategy that they needed to employ to actually win the game.
Oh god, yeah. Don't do that if you're trying to get Storm Surge. If anybody was wondering.
Yeah, I saw that as well. That was a good one. You know, apparently that's their strategy, and it was leaked. So there you go. Guys, I wanted to take a moment here to talk about a trio we have not gotten to see a lot of, and it was actually the trio we were hanging on to for quite a while. Reese loving to break this down for us, but that's right, it's Aryan, Surprise, and FSI.
Yeah, all around these guys have been really good today, genuinely, and I think the reason why we wanted to sort of highlight them is just because it has been a bit of a surprise. When you look at Surprise and FSI in particular, Reese, they haven't had any sort of notable performances all year long.
Yeah, no, not really. Aryan himself has won a solo Cash Cup this season relatively recently, and as a trio, they've done really well in, I think, one at least Cash Cup, but they didn't make a round 4. 8th place. 8th place is fantastic, and you know, but they haven't been a team that we necessarily would have come in and said, yeah, these guys are going to pop off. They're going to take number 1, number 2, 100% hit the qualifying slot, and I don't think they've been getting the credit yet, you know, until this last game. You know, we haven't even seen too much of them, and look at that now. first place, 126 points, outfragging basically everyone in the lobby outside of Sapphic, Default, and Putrick. Let's be real, you're not going to outfrag them at the moment, but they're so close to qualifying with only 2 more games left.
Yeah, honestly, performance has been brilliant from them. And look, you know, some people are late bloomers. It's taken them the whole year, but they finally done it, right? And they're on the way to doing it. So look, we'll take a look at that next page, because you always got to remember, right? At the end of the day, the teams that are 7th to 17th are going to be ones to watch out for. Those will be the teams who move on to the reboot round tomorrow. And as you can see in those positions right now, there are some very notable teams, right? Rotary, you know, Milan, Bloomies, Trio, Squint, Cisse, Remix are a team to watch out for. Kylix, William, and Lecce, of course, and Kuro, Gedz, and Hizix, who were literally the first game winners, are now sitting outside of a reboot round spot. So you can see how quickly things can change and turn for you. The next couple games got to be big.
And I think what's actually interesting so far is outside of the 4 victory royales that we've seen, only one of them is actually from a team who's currently in our top 6. So winning a game in this heat's been very odd, because you have the teams who pop off, do really well in a single match, but have just kind of flopped outside of that, to put it as bluntly as possible. They haven't managed to pop off consistently getting into the top 6 yet, but it's like you're seeing big games from them, which is very, very interesting. Like with 2 more left, I'm hoping that some of these teams who've had big games can push up into that top 6 still.
You have to, right, Levin? I mean, this is that last opportunity. If not, you're either going to be pushed out into reboot, or you may even be pushed past that. I mean, we only have 2 games left to go. And if you're looking to make finals, you have to be of that caliber to get there. You know what I mean?
And it goes right back to what we said at the top of the show. You know, can you handle that pressure? Because like you said, these next few games are huge. You can't afford to fumble it. And some people can't handle it. Some people can. And we'll find out who that is in the next couple of games.
Oh man, the stress levels for me going through the roof. I feel like I'm a person that stresses alongside other. What is that, like a you have empathetic stressor? That's
you're an empath. There you go.
An empath. Yeah. I just stress all the time. As long as someone around the world is stressed, I'm also stressed. That is life for old Zeke. Okay, you heard the battle bus beep. We've only got 2 more games left to go. So let's jump back into the action. Sancho West, Shy Wager, take it away.
Hey, Zeke, we'll try to keep the desk and we'll try to keep the casting stress-free the entire time. Stay with me, Sancho. Game number 5, keep the dream alive. Game number 5, keep the dream alive. That's what I'm talking about. So that's what a lot of the trios need to do. That's what we're going to do too for a lot of these guys. And yeah, Q rolls outside, or Q rolls, apologies, is outside that top 17. Lots of teams now might be switching their paces, Sancho, to kind of look for a reboot round instead of the top 6.
Yeah, and the furious pace that Freemox Trio was able to do, the huge elimination game with the Victory Royale. It's always known in the EU region that if Freemox has any kind of power weapon in his hand and in-game, he's always going to put on a show. So no doubt, he definitely put that one. I definitely have to tune in to the socials to see that result right there. But the results never change when it comes to the early elim feed. It's everybody fighting in the central, trading to and fro Nox and elims.
Mid game will be slightly different without Taze in it. Peace King taking him out. Lots of times we've seen, box fights become third-party centrals. It's because Taze is there making sure that everything slows down. So this trio might not be alive for it. Actually, also going down to Fly. That's another name we've seen just made every single box fight so muddy in this early game. Though all these knocks are coming out, Sancho, no team's been eliminated just yet.
I just got to wonder, is Fly and Bobby and Versa being contested at Pleasant Park? I mean, when you don't have a zone kind of really held down, where you don't have the respect in terms of a, kings of dirty docks when it comes to the Anas, Flick, and Thomas HCs of the world, you could get landed on very late into the, the tournament. And that's what's happening right here. Or maybe, he picked up a knock along with someone flying over. But still, we got to keep an eye on it. I'm not too worried about Bobby being contested, because that's something that they thrive on. That's what they did really well on when I mentioned when they came into 4th place in the qualifiers. Right now, they're sitting in 5th place. And right now, one thing I have to be concerned with is the Loot Boys. A little bit of yellow flag right now, Yeah,
97, they were looking like going to go all the way over out of Boney. And, out of Boney and Bolivar Beach as well, whether it is the semifinals, where it is the quals, these are the places where we see wins. For them, though, the days so far, we haven't seen that pop-off, happen yet.
I think it's because it starts with the letter B. You know, you got the VR and a BR with Bony Burbs and Believer Beats. A lot of alliteration right there. But hey, they don't get a great B right now. They have a grade A performance. But I have to say, you know, the centralized zone, Bony Burbs is looking good. No wonder it's always a place of attraction when it comes to Aqua and Red Rush, we already mentioned earlier in the cast. But they still got work to do. They still got 2 more games right now. And these pair of games are going to be the ones, because we've been seeing Game 6 be the one where someone just comes from the back of the pack. We saw Fast Roki do it. We saw Jamside do it last season. Game 6, I think, is going to be the one that I definitely have my eyes on. As we're seeing Milan and Milan action there. Milan, I will not lose getting a knock on Milan.
That'll be over, I think, towards the disc station or somewhere on rotation.
Yes. Corny Complex and around that area, yeah.
Yeah. At the same time, still, usually there's about 85 people alive with 28 teams at this moment. People are playing slightly reserved. I'll be looking for any signs of life inside Pleasant or loot that he can get around him, and he finds a little bit of that with Nano and Radion towards the backside. No MXR looks like over at Stealthy, or maybe he went down early. Maybe these guys have finally moved to find a different strategy, but Bobby will try to hunt them down. He's not letting them go in that car for free.
So Fly just came from the Guardian Tower. So that's where he picked up his knock. He went over there to loot, probably saw someone fly on by and got a nice elimination, no doubt, some great Storm Surge. And Bobby, you talk about a very bullish, aggressive push. Bobby has no respect for this man.
He saw the damage, he dropped down. He saw these guys just leaving in the car, even though they had a nice little 2v1 scenario they could do. He's seen the lack of confidence, and he's dropping straight down again. That health bar is actually below the bridge. I thought he was dropping onto Nano right after taking damage and not healing, but they know exactly where he is. Bills will come out. 3v1. How long is this last outro? 5 seconds?
Okay, I think you're right. 1,000. Well, 2 Mississippi. There it is.
Give it 6 or 5 seconds. Yeah, these guys, they're efficient. Is what I'm trying to say. They don't waste time. They don't fool around, and they're looking to get all the way back into first place.
Dude, they're flying around the map. Fly is literally all over the place. He's being aggressive, and I like this change. And Bobby versus Fly, you know, like I mentioned, struggles when uncontested, realizing, hey, we need to get all of our eliminations, our Storm Surge outside of our POI. Man, if someone needs to bot review this team and figure out how fast they were able to loot Pleasant Park, because sometimes that takes a while. You got to go around that whole ring of those houses, and right now they're just doing a lot with very little. And I think right now the split that's happening is Fly landing up in that Guardian Tower that's giving us some eyes all over that little north region, as Q-Roll gets eliminated by Swilliam. And that's the thing, man. It's really hard. You get that one victory royale, you know you feel good, but this is 6 games. It's a marathon. You cannot sprint your way to the finish line in the first slate.
Still have one more game. Possibly end up winning that one too and getting 60 points. Could have them qualified towards the top 6, or at least get them 100% back into reboot, but Kuro will try.
That's what I was saying. Right now, Hero teams going into that final frame are going to be asking themselves, okay, what do we need to do just to finish in the top 17? Because that would be their threshold that they definitely confirm, considering that they came into this match 18th place, just on the outside.
8 players so far in top 6. It's not even just teams in general. It might be, you know, specific players on those teams are looking for that first finals appearance. I mean, you called it in the earlier game, Sancho. This is kind of the heat, at least from what we're watching, where all these up and comers are kind of the stars.
Mm-hmm. But still, I would say, Shio, the stars definitely have a chance to put them out of the, considering the pressure. The analyst has talked about the pressure is now going up and up as we see a sniper shot towards Mongrel. And now the names, like I mentioned, Wolfies, Fremont, and Letwick are making their push. This team's just 7th place on the outside, taking the shots. They take a response with a sniper shot, does not connect. But Fremont, Wolfies, and Letwick coming from Believer Beach. Temporary rental, considering that Tayson, Vino, and Reason are there, but everybody in the qualifiers, let's plant the seed. If this team qualifies for the finals right now in the semifinals, that's going to have to put a big question mark for Tayson, because you never know what kind of day Fremont Trio might be wanting. Do they want to go ahead and contest, or maybe they go down to Holly Hatchery. I've seen them go there before. We saw Fremont go there in the previous season down at Holly Hedges when it was called. But that's what I got to. If I was Tayson Trio, I'm watching this right now, hoping that Fremont does not make it into the finals.
Once again, it's kind of like that, respectful tale of people who end up making it late. Usually don't end up contesting, especially if they have trouble from that spot against a lesser team already. These guys are, not dominating off spawn and having the fastest rotations in semifinals. How are they going to do against Tayson, right?
True, but look at that gold pump right there. Fremont's like, ooh, I get this if I go to Believer Beach. It's tempting. It's tempting.
Definitely is. Just know that, Vito will be taking that pump before it's even inside the chest. Those guys loot that POI like no other. Sky, Leo, and Este. I mean, the coolest thing I've seen from this trio so far is the way that they have early height control. Every single endgame we're watching, they start on it, they hold it for about at least 3 zones. And although passive all the way towards the back, they don't play it like other teams we've seen in the EU. Still turning it to, a nice 82 points in the 9th place right now.
In the last game, they had that height for a bit and came in 11th place, but at least they were able to walk out the door with 3 eliminations. They did get a victory out here. As I mentioned, they have the ability to do that. Old school names still in this fight. You talk about the new up-and-comers. The old school names are still saying not so fast, young man. Not so fast. Which is odd because everybody here is young. So that's what they're saying.
Old by like comparison of like a little amount of time.
Veterans.
One trio too that's kind of like flown under the radar. We have literally seen almost nothing from them other than Elam feed and the time.
I know what you're gonna say. I know what you're gonna say. Hit me with it.
Pink, Nebs,
there it is.
Stompy. Yeah. These guys rolling in today. I mean, I don't think it's the biggest surprise. I've looked a lot on social media and different players and figures in the community. They've had them at like 4th or 5th in the list in terms of being top 6 today. And so far, we've seen Stompy pop off early game, defend the POI wherever they're landing. And at the same time, Pink and Nebs, we just saw in that last game and the game before that, all the way there in that 8th, 9th zone inside the top 10.
I definitely want to see if we could see what's going down with them. They're in 4th place. They're coming out of Lazy Lake, uncontested. They already got that one scrum with Mongrel in game 1. So we could get some eyes on them. That'd be fantastic. I mean, Stompy, who's with Joe and Shadow in the previous season, of course, Joe and Shadow is already advanced into the finals with Benji. Stompy's a credit for teaching a lot of players how to play the high ground. So no doubt Stompy and Pink Nebs are benefiting from that, but they haven't yet done it from the high ground. They've been doing it on mid to low.
They're trying to take whatever they can get. That's the same thing for Fremont, Wolfie, and Ledwick on this rotation right now. Bullied a little bit, and they'll continue to be. I'm not sure if the spirit of Bobby has possessed this man who's shooting Fremont, Wolfie, and Ledwick, but so far in this game, no vehicle is allowed to drive by for free.
I gotta say, this is my favorite spot in all of Fortnite. Those two little slip bros, sometimes they're just enough to get you over to feel a little bit more comfortable when you're heading into the Battle Royale.
Sawball being topped off with good HP. Zeston once again, passive angles, waiting for other trios to move around them. I feel like this Loot Boy trio is always as good as the lobby they're playing in. They'll always be making plays according to the players around them. Whenever there's really good players around, they make even better plays. Whenever there's a little bit of low moments around them, they don't activate as much. Right now, though, it's not going to be them on the screen of focus. It'll be Flecken versus that we just saw on the other side. Although these guys are kind of, shooting back and forth over and over again, the one thing that's not going to happen, I feel like, in game 5 are these big third-party blocks you've been seeing over and over again. These big box fights that delve out. It's Ledwick's team on the other side of the road right now. Both of these guys are kind of coming in with similar vibes of, being that team that's just good enough right now. Might not have the biggest foothold inside top 6, but wants to get there, wants to break in, at least by the end of game 6.
And got basically a standoff right here as, oh no, Belusi picks up a knock on Mongrel. And my pick right there, my prediction, I thought an uncontested with Slender and Kiko having some great ping advantages and so to speak, not working out so far. There's still time. They still have a duo operating, but my pick not looking good. It has been a bad vibe for me when it comes to prediction picks this season.
Sancho with the caster curse.
No, I didn't want to see that, man. I'm avoiding that, man. Well, I kid you not. I'm seriously looking at all the predictions. I'm like, I want this team to qualify because I know they can, but I don't want to pick them because I am cursed this season, bro. 100%.
And now we know who to blame, who to DM. It's not notifications, guys. It's Sancho West.
Mongrel fans, please don't rise. Please sit down for a moment.
The one time. And I said that these guys aren't really, you know, inside the top 6, even though they're second right now. What I'm kind of thinking about in my mind is every time they're playing these games, it's just a very good clutch moment. It's not organized the way they're rolling in, and they kind of stumbled into second place. They were started at 18th. Scott had a sick clutch, got them to 5th, and then once again, clutched again, got him into second while lots of big teams are down. Historically, when we watch qualifiers on show, these teams that rise up when the top names go down for a game, they end up struggling after the fact. Scott's gonna have to try to break that curse a little bit. Gonna have to actually perform with first, second, and third possibly alive in this game. Besides them, they haven't done that yet, and they struggled when that's a factor inside their games, and the top teams still survive. So you see exactly how they adapt. Maybe being in second gives them that confidence. If Scott goes down first, though, I don't know what Flecken and Q would do because he's been the point man for clutching up these points. He plays solo from like 18th place all the way to like 5th and 6th.
And absolutely, I was going to say that, like, is his backpack, it might be, I mean, he might be encumbered right now, but right now that's going to be the problem that's facing FSI, and surprise is this Storm Surge again making its appearance. Ryan going down, FSI now going to the big pots. Like 6 people have to be eliminated here. That's not going to be enough. I'm looking, oh no! It's Gray that takes advantage. He sees the purple lightning. He forecasted that someone's in shambles here. And Surprise is gonna have to pull a rabbit out of his hat to make this happen. He does have a chug cannon, and 2 people can go down. But we know Gray and Shakos, they're not gonna let this go.
That's still first place, huge for them and huge for Sky, Flecken, and Kumu as well, because we just said they operate very, very well when first, third, or anyone around them is down.
I'm so used to Gray and Shakos being together. My apologies. Paco, Gray, and MXR.
On Storm Surge too, I'm pretty sure that you actually can't see that lightning. You can only kind of hear it overall and hear those shield cracks as well going down.
Oh yeah,
it's just that replay thing. Yeah, so they'll be able to actually sound out exactly where it's striking. We'll be able to hear those shields break as well and know exactly what's going down. If you don't see bullets and shields being, you know, torn apart, there's only one answer. That's Storm Surge.
Pros could hear a bandage pop 4 layers down below. You know what I mean? Behind brick and metal. They could hear all that. That is what we're seeing, the exquisite play right now. But Flecken right now trying to avoid the reboot round once again. This is going to be an opportunity to do so. Last time we saw Flecken was in the FNCS All-Stars, came in 83rd as a solo. And you're seeing right now Flecken leading the charge here as we're back on board with the POV of Surprise here. No eliminations, and if he could just survive a little bit longer, that's going to be the placement point that he just needs to survive one more person, I believe, and he's good to go. Yeah, this is going to get it rare. He's going to get placement points very, very soon.
One more team, that might be even 10 people getting knocked before a team goes down. And he gets zoned. That's huge. It could be more than just 24th place he's riding for. 3 more names in the feed, and still we're not down to 24 teams.
Just hoping, yeah, for let it be a full trio right now. We already saw Default go down right before that placement threshold. These are such valuable points on the line for Surprise, and he pulled Storm right now. I'm just taking a look at this in game. This one's very spicy. We've seen a couple of this here in the FNCS broadcast. He's kind of this little canal here, the little I guess sand dune area, this little beach that's going to happen right now. Those little things, I'm excited to see how it all unfolds here right next to Steamy Stacks.
Is this called a gulf?
Yes, that's the word I was looking for. A little gulf, a little bay, so to speak, a little bay that's happening right here.
Hey, Surprise got the points though.
There it is.
And I was looking for more inside this bay or gulf of sorts. We'll have to check, but if that's not a gulf, then I don't know why we even use that word, because that looks like a gulf. Regardless, 131 points in the lead. How far can Surprise push it? All on his shoulders, and behind him, there's Bobby, there's Versa, Safik waiting in the shadows too. I mean, so many teams looking to overtake.
I could feel Sundown yelling at his screen, telling us what it is. He probably knows. He knows the knowledge, but what we do know is Bobby, Versa, and Fly are trying to avoid them sliding out. And Scala here, the solo star, who's been clutching for his trio, is going to maybe have to do it again here. And Child, here it is. He's all on the line. He has a med kit. He has enough shield to get back into 200 HP. He has a decent amount of Storm Surge to work with. But hey, this is going to be something I would like to see. How has this man been doing it throughout the entire day?
I mean, before it was making sure he was kind of in the lower mid-ground tiers and swapping layers. Very good zone kind of positions for him as well in terms of where zones were moving. He got a little bit beneficial with that. Right now, too, with this zone, kind of locking in towards the Gulf. He's looking really good in this situation, and he's moving layers as well, making sure he knows exactly who's where. There's teams in front of him, and he kind of pokes out his head. Gray, MXR, Paco, they've cleared this side, so it'll be safe for him to peek for now. Let's see how Scala clutches. This is another day in the job for him, Sancho. This is just another shift in the 9 to 5.
And finally, we get a taste of what Nebs, Pink, and Stompy, they're right there. Fourth place, there's always a shadow trio that's just operating underneath the eyes of an observation team, and they're doing really well in full stealth mode in this fight. But we're going to keep on to the drama that is the solo clutch that's unfolding right in front of us here. Max, pretty close to max pull right here, about 75% or 3 4/4 max pull. And he's going to have to wake his way. He's going to hope that he hears a pad go by. As you're seeing, Storm Surge is actually affecting Fremox's team, who's right nearby.
Again, once more, and we'll see them game after game dropping down to the lack of damage. They're doing 38 below, and they're after to basically maybe even quintuple that moving forward for the next Surge as well. Looking for a few shots, 85 below suddenly. I'm wondering how, it's a surprise. We saw Surprise possibly go down earlier. I'm looking at Scally. That's what I was talking about.
He's right there.
He's live too, and he moves right over, past an entire trio. Surprise is also still alive right up top. Finally going down. For him, it was Surge. Scally had enough with the trades with his teammates going down. He has the damage to stay up. Wolfie now will be slow, and no, Fremox gone. It's just going to be Wolfie in the air, still getting sniped by Surge, and he survives. While 48 players now, that's the threshold of people left alive in the lobby. Storm Surge will stop for the moment. He's safe, but man, at the cost of both his teammates.
The previous winner at the beginning of Victory Royale are out, and look, Pink, Nebs, and Stumpy are setting up. They have it right there. They're gonna want height. Wolfie's right here on the other side, but I like the position right here from Nebs' trio.
Now the key for this lobby though, Surprise is down. Everyone knows that. First place up for grabs. At the same time, Skal needs to go down too. He's right there by himself in a box right below Nebs overall, and kind of pulled zone. If this man doesn't go down, I mean, one thing, every other trio is going to be so mad that all this work is just being barricaded by Sky up top. Their trio will be so happy knowing that one more clutch is kind of the difference maker in them making finals and maybe even not passing by heats.
I'm seeing that Stompy's investment did not ring true, but they still have a great kind of flight path to kind of pad over everybody, considering that there's really not anyone else here that's kind of building up for height. So I'm expecting to kind of pad on over and capsize around. Look, they actually build right over. They build right over this right here. So, hey, we got to watch out for them to be able to maybe move up into the top 6. Or, I mean, to solidify the spot.
All eyes should be, though, while Pink is up on height. It almost gets broken down. No. Default's actually there to make sure it's all fine. Is he going for a retake? I mean, we'll tune in for him for a sec. The clutch to watch right now should be Skyle down below. I know Wolfies is also here, 7th place, going into 6th, looking to grab it over, but Skyle is holding on to 2nd overall too. Wolfie, this will be huge. I mean, if he gets to go in, there are a few teams down already. I believe Bobby's kind of almost succumb to that fate. 103, he's gonna have to push forward slightly into that 110, maybe even 120 point line. There's finally down at 121, and that'll possibly be the section to look at, the point threshold for some people to pass by. Now we tune in back to Wolfie, knowing what he needs to do. It's about 20 points of a difference that he wants to get to be supremely comfortable inside the top 6 at least. That's a lot of work to do on the way, and he's already out of mats, out of gas. One more edit separating him from the eyes of every trio in the lobby.
all out of turbo. He's going to have to rely on his positioning here. Hopefully a pad can bail him out. Look at what's above him, and down below it's still more chaotic. SC getting eliminated, Let's get eliminated, Pink getting eliminated. So Pink's hold at height when Default pushed him down, and now Pink's trio's in trouble as getting killed right down. Wolfie's breaking through enemy builds, trying to inject himself into a safe tarp here. One more person has to go down, and Storm Surge will stop pestering him. Look at height. It's Patrick, Sapphic, and Default here, who are in third place here. And if they get a victory out, no doubt could get in the top 6. And Wolfies enters the wrong kind, and it was Bobby greeting Wolfies right there, and Wolfies has been eliminated.
I will tune in to Sapphic on height, see what's going down. I also want to make sure we tune in with Bobby, because they will be the lower half of the pack to see exactly where the point line is, towards that top 6. Versa and Fly have tried so hard week after week to make it in, go by a threshold. They've kind of almost been beside there over and over again, but never kind of made it all the way towards the end of it, towards the next stage. Now they flew by in terms of consistency. They have to lock things in. Meanwhile, though, CL-centric, the combination of orgs up top on height, they're looking to try to do anything, but it's so hard to actually kind of clamp down. Versa actually gets an elim onto Mustache. That's huge, and that keeps them ahead in the race.
Indeed, but they are now out. They've been eliminated. Bobby, Versa, they all are out. So that is 5th place in the bottom of that threshold here. Top 6 get in. So this is going to be a major opportunity for Sapphic to go. And Stompy gets eliminated. So that's number 4 out right there. Swilliam was able to clean that up here. So Sapphic could try to push the rest of the lobby a little bit away to get a little bit. And Milan here is in the crossline here. He has 2 in front of him. Sapphic trying to get in, tries to dive into the layer here. Doesn't find it. He's going to go again. He gets a tag with 66 and a big knock. That's what Sapphic needs to keep pushing down to the rest of the level. Look at the elimination feed. Sapphic is cleaning it up right now. 3 elims to Sapphic, armed with the gold pump. He's going to give the win condition to his mates up top, and he's going to dive back in for more elims.
That pump is basically an open palm, and Sappic's dropping down and slapping every single person he sees box to box. Another one. Is that Tiago? Bye-bye. Next, he's going straight down to low and cleaning house. Atlantic Kovacs might have to fix his aim even more so than he has already, because Sappic's on the walls. All he can do is run away. No one can stand to Sapphic toe-to-toe. This man got knocked down with his shields still intact. Wasn't enough, though, because Putrick and Default, I mean, they have to still win out this game. There's one more player left somewhere. It was Kovacs, and it's not possible for him to stay alive. What a run from Sapphic. 6 eliminations, 7 for the team in total. And now we know why this team is so lethal.
So good, so done well. A victory out for Sapphic, Default, and Patrick, and they were coming into that battle in 3rd place, and no doubt, we already talking about, if anyone in the top 6 gets a victory out, no doubt that will be their qualification into the top 6 and into the finals. But hey, man, that Russian slide, put a pause. No more. It's done. They're in. I think so.
No, that honestly is a very good call. They were at 104 points to roll in with this game. They struggled the game before, got taken out before they got any. And I think Sapphic was frustrated, just took out his anger on the rest of the lobby. I mean, that was just amazing to watch, akin to like some of the craziest runs we've seen in so many other competitions. Regardless though, Sandro, there's still 5 other spots to fill. Lots of other people who are making clutches time after time and have one more game to do it again.
Yeah, I was about to say that. 5 other spots and 1 more game. And hey, we only have 2 more tosses to the desk. So here it goes. Here's 1 more toss. Wow. Let's kick it to Zeke, Levin, and Reese.
Sancho West with the god tier tosses. You'll love to see it. Wow. Wow, indeed, though. Sapphic, this reminds me a lot of Rex, actually, not that long ago, like 2 weeks ago. I made like a similar kind of like idea. You basically let the dog off the leash and then they just go ham, right? That was Sapphic this game. And like to their point, coming in at 104 points, you know you have to do something. There has to be some change if you want to make the top 6. I 100% agree with Shawwager. Sapphic was like, okay, guys, listen, I love you all so much, but we are not gonna lose this, and I'm gonna put you both on my back. We're just gonna go. Y'all just keep going, keep up the circle, and I'm just gonna die for it. Also, we cut away from him, but when he like went down, he was actively trying to hide himself on the other side of build, so that last player could not pick off and get the siphon. That's crazy, man. Well played, Sapphic. Well played.
I don't even need to analyze. Just Zeke's just said
I did it.
That was the rundown. That was essentially what just happened there. And on a serious note, it's funny because I think in many ways this team hasn't necessarily gone how we would have thought it would.
Right.
They have been the one constant. They have been the one consistent thing where we knew these guys were going to come out and perform at this, at this level at some point in the heat. It's taken them a while to get here, but they are here, and it's really entertaining, right? As we just saw, right? It's a lot of fun to watch. So I'm glad we're finally getting to witness it.
Yeah, we're pretty certain that they're going to punch their ticket through based on here. Maybe not. They still need to gain some more points into the final game. But regardless, I want to know how they're going to play in the finals, what they're going to drop, what they're going to do. Because obviously we see them coming out of Dirty Dogs right now. Are they going to try and claim that, given that Flick and Nast almost HD, seem to have not made it? Yeah, exactly. So they may have punched a really good RNG ticket at the same time, if that makes sense for them, if they manage to make it. Some of our other teams super popping off consistency, like Bobby versus Fly there, of Arian Surprise and FSI still looking really good in the same game too. So looking strong.
Looking strong. I love it. Look, guys, let's talk about some of these trios. We only have one game left. They're on the bubble, and they need to kind of pull off the great Sapphic if they wish to make it into the finals.
Well, yeah, they're going to have to do their best Sapphic impression. And to be fair, if anyone can do that, it would be Freemock, you'd think, right? You can see here some crazy shots from him, and that's what he offers you. These guys, once again, like I said, a very explosive trio. When they are on it, they are on it, and there's not many people in this lobby that can deal with them, and so a big last game will be needed. They can definitely pull it off, though.
Yeah, they were 7th coming into this, and interesting enough, with Versa, Bobby, and Fly, they before this game were on that boundary on 6th, but they bopped off hugely. They got 8 eliminations total, so 30 points. Even though they managed to come 11th overall, still did really, really well for them there. So that's definitely going to move them up the leaderboard big time. Ooh, that's a nice night from Fly. Okay, that's looking good. That's looking good. But so obviously, a lot of these teams who had there, our leaderboards has now changed. So Bobby versus Fly, despite the fact only placing 11th, have moved up to 2nd from 6th. So 133. But look at how close all the boundaries are here. Realistically, anyone on this page with a big game will qualify.
Yeah, this is a very interesting page to look at. When you actually look at the points on the right of your screen, there's something I want to say here. I don't know. It rhymes with mine fargins. Fine margins. Very fine margins, in fact. You can see so few points separating a lot of these teams here on this page from 1 to 10. And that causes for an exciting game. It causes for a nightmare for the casters. But
oh yeah,
your job. That is your job, Shy Adrian Sancho. So have a lot of fun. I'll be watching from the sideline, legs kicked back, enjoying the view. You guys just break it all down for me. Thanks.
Yeah, we got to keep track of every single one of those teams basically on that page. 10 at once. Yeah. Any of them picked off the leaderboard, the chance them qualifying just goes in the mud.
Oh man, every interaction matters. Fortnite fam, watch the elimination feed, follow along with the casters, see who makes it in. But you know what time it is. It's game time. Don't forget, we'll check in with the other heat going on after this game. But for now, we're back on the battle bus. Sit back, kick your legs up, let's grab some popcorn, and let's go one last time, Sancho and Shayo.
Oh, we shot 11. Nightmare, you say? No, this is our dream. This is the reality we love living in, Sancho. Game 6 vibes, when all the points are just side by side. We got to do mental math and the nanoseconds and watch what's going down and say it at the same time. That's just, easy.
Yeah, I don't think the boys know that, when you're going to ship me something, you ship it to Elm Street, baby, because I live for these nightmare situations. And here we go. It is game 6. It is the top 6 get into the finals. And don't forget, tomorrow is 4 rounds of reboot. Talk about a weekend of FNCS.
Yeah, going to be crazy games tomorrow, but right now we're looking in from 7th down all the way towards 10th or 12th. There's trouble. People contested at their POIs in 7th place. It's MXR, Paco, and Gray. They've been fighting a whole day, and they're not going to stop all the way till game 6. This is it, one of the most important off-spawn fights for the trio this season. Either they go to reboot round if they lose, or if MXR grabs the weapon and gets the elimination and they get a full squad wipe in 5 seconds, they have a very good chance of making finals.
In the blink of an eye, the Italians get eliminated from MXR. Paco and Gray do what they needed to do, but Pablo gets eliminated by Nebs. Uh-oh, top 6 is already in danger for being shaked up already in the early. Yes, this trio was successful, but that doesn't mean everybody else that's in the top 6 or in the running are doing well, Shayo.
Yeah, Nabs was all the way up there towards 4th place with Pink, and Stompy takes out 11th place. Bloomy, Pablo, and Tomsy overall. We'll have to switch from this POV to see if there's anything going on with those 8th all the way to 11th place teams. Maybe that fight's not over in terms of Bloomy, Pablo, and Tomsy's trio. And at the same time, lots of things happening all across the map. The point threshold we're looking at right now is RD, Belusi, and Kowalski's for the moment. We'll tune in with them in just a second. That's 112. We go all the way to Sinan, who's there at Corny Complex. These guys are rocking in at a nice 8th place overall. Kido and Milan, they had one of those wins earlier on today, Sancho. And past that, they've had very good mid-game battles here and there. They've had a good day overall, but at the same time, it seems like they either win games and get top 10, or they're just not anywhere in getting points in the other games at all. There's no consistency. It's either go big or go home for this team, and they got one more game to play.
One of the biggest L's they experienced in their set was at game 3, coming in 21st place with 0 elims. So they got the 5 placement points right there, but no doubt out of the running here as Wolfies gets a knock. So Wolfies is going to be one of those other trios here that's going to probably try to get into the reboot, considering he's coming in the 28th place. So right now, there's a lot of trios that are asking themselves, are we going to be able to get in the top 6, or are we playing for a reboot? And that's is what's going to happen here. So normally, sometimes in game 6, you see the Lami get eliminated so quickly, but right now you see a lot of people are still at stake, a lot to play for, even though they're on the bottom of the board. Because as Reese kind of pointed out, there's so many fine margins, and Levin as well, fine margins all the way across from those 2 thresholds that we're keeping an eye on.
Right now, the finest of them is just, if you want to know if people have a good chance of hitting top 6, just look at this one rule. Anyone at triple digits right now on that gold number, if it's around 100 or above, that means they have a very good chance if they play consistently to come in, it'll be close. Anyone outside of that 80 points, 70 points, they're gonna have to do something miraculous this game, like Fast Roki did a week ago, or just have an insane banger of a game here all the way towards the end where everyone is trying their hardest. The thing though is, Sancho, right? There are 14 teams who could all be inside the top 6 at the end of it. Half of them are in the top 6 right now. They can get knocked out. The other half are looking from the outside in, trying to take away space. Loot Boys are another one of them. We've just been high praises on them the entire broadcast. They've played great today.
Not playing great today is Wolfies, Marine, and Milan. They've been fully eliminated, out, not able to make the reboot round as well at the hands of Leo, Skite, and Etsy. So big names already out, and that is what's at stake. It doesn't matter if you have a big name, you could get fully eliminated.
I'll see what ends up happening next in just a sec. Freemock's going to be doing his best impression. He's going to be one of the next trios to follow for the moment. We'll see exactly how he breaks down. Past that too, we have a lot to look at all across the map. The one person to keep an eye on who is kind of holding everyone back in, just in general in terms of the way the day is going, that's RD, Belusi, Kowalski. These guys will be the gatekeepers for now in terms of stopping the entire lobby. When it comes to them, they are the 6th place team overall, 112 points. I said we'd be going back to them in just a moment, but that's really just how it is. When we look at this team in general, how they play, exactly what they do, the way these guys are rolling in, it's literally just about stopping every team behind them. Paco, Graham, XO just one off spawn. Sinan, Milan, and Kidro that we just saw. The Loot Boys all the way from Boney Burns, even Freemock. None of these guys should be able to try to stand a chance against RD. We have on screen as well. And the zone we have seems to be nowhere in RD's favor. They're landing at Camp Cod. They have to go all the way back towards the top. This is a home zone for Corny Complex and for anyone landing near Boney that wants to make a fast move all the way in. For the top 6, it feels like it's very good. For 7th to 11th, a little bit troublesome. They'll have to kind of go all the way away from home, look to find a new place inside the zone, and just hold out for this last game.
Hey, sometimes you grow the most when you're away from home. So that's what's going to be something that we have to keep an eye on here going forward. This is the final frame here of the semifinals. This is going to be Heat 3 that we have our eyes on. We will definitely keep you up to date. What's happening with Heat 2 is considering that Heat 1 is already in the books.
Here it is, already Belusi, Kowalski. Man, what a loadout. Purple pump. Have the shield fish ready for all the, clashes these guys will see inside the start of the game. Might be taking a little bit too much time rolling in, but if it's a launch pad, you got to make that U-turn. Here it is, though. Wolfie up against Letwick right now. Letwick so close to qualifying. This needs to push all the way forward. 105 points. I was telling you, you see triple digits. That's a chance for qualifying. That chance is here for this trio.
Chances all over the place. This may not be the chance that Freemock needs at the moment. Got to be careful here. We know Freemock has the ability to put on a show, but this is where it matters the most. when everything is on the line and you could qual here. Remember, the triple digits are in the contention for top 6. But when it comes down to getting into that, you have to get to the end game in this one right now. And we've already seen these situations a lot for Wolfies, Letwick, and Fremont being contested, being pushed in a build fight. And look at Loot Boys right here pushing into this and looking for a pinch on planes here. But I don't think Loot Boys should be able to want this. I know Storm Surge is a factor, but this is a very risky fight to take right now in risky reels, no pun intended.
Everyone can feel that risk and the tension. Usually by this time, shots have been rattled out. These metal walls are being replaced by brick and then almost wood. No one has fired yet. Everyone waiting, and this is 5 different teams for someone to make that first move. No one is. They don't want to be the ones to blame in the trio. They don't want to be the ones to make the mistake. And finally, 3 ARs start to rattle. They start to fire and move aggressively. Fremont is going to be changing layers. Letwick trying to follow slightly behind him, looking for that drop down from top below. Bobby's there all the way up top with Versa Fly on the same layer, looking for Letwick to overpeak and make a mistake. No one finding any tags just yet, but Letwick's the first one to take a little bit of damage. Bobby's down to Hydro. The Loot Boys are getting aggressive.
I feel like I'm watching a scary movie right here, right now. All these people that are in the top 6 are really colliding, fighting for it right now, scrapping for this top 6. That's how much it matters here to get into the finals. And they're not going to try to take it with placement point style. They want it with elims.
And look at that. Usually you would see Versa fighting for things, right? Definitely Loot Boy wanted for elims, you're right. But for the rest of the guys, if you're getting eliminated, these guys are cutting losses immediately. I'm not thinking about it. Yo, Bobby's kind of trapped right now. What do? We're gonna take that car. We're gonna go all the way away. Maybe come back when, you know, when things kind of maybe simmer down, but that's not gonna be a thing at risky reels, especially when it's so central in the zone. Hydro will stay here. That card will run out. Versa is gonna have to just play duos at the moment. There's not gonna be a chance for these guys to get their teammate back up.
Look at this. They already did the damage and they're out. They're trying to get away scot-free and use the vehicle, satisfied. It's like basically as monster defense, they got there to go plate. They're feeling it. They got the vibes that they needed for, satisfied with the Storm Surge, but now still in the remnants of that scrum is still Wolfies, Fremont, and Letwick. And just to give you an idea, folks, anybody that is in the middle of the pack could leapfrog them with a win. And that is Sky. I got to watch out for Sky, Etsy, and Leo. I mean, those are the ones that we've seen that kind of get a victory royale. They've been having high ground in the perfect prime power positions in the moments that they needed the most. And they could leapfrog Wolfies, Fremont, and Letwick if they go down here. And now we're going to another trio that it was within the striking distance of top 6. And this is a trio that's in top 8, and that is Milan, I Will Not Lose, along with Sinan and Kiduo.
No roll in, 107. Still slightly away, about 5 points from the mark. They're getting bullied by Malabuka. Talk about a trio that's rolling in frustrated. I mean, yes. 12th place overall right now, 103 points. They are also definitely in contention, but the fighting does not stop. It's breaking down fast. Wolfie finds the Versa. One more piece of the pie to be stopped all the way close towards 2nd place. This could be huge for the top 6 to shift. They're looking for Fly. He's somewhere around here. But Fremont's in trouble too, so they have to both play offense to find that free elim, get those crucial points, but at the same time, keep their trio alive with defensive builds.
This is the nice engagement. Fire Hunter and KS Light are moving through Wolfie's, Fremont, and Letwick, and this would be valuable resources for Fremont, Letwick, and Wolfie, who have been kind of having this battle at risky reels, and they definitely need a refresh. And considering this team is late rotating in, they could have some valuable resources as well, some power weapons, and already they have a purple pump in Wolfie, and no doubt Fremont has, I believe, a purple pump as well that we saw them here, and they're going to be satisfied and make their way with the rotation going through. Game 6, Shia, this is what I'm talking about. We've been building up to this moment for the semifinals. This is a precursor to the reboot round that's happening tomorrow, and it's going to be on the same time as we were watching this. And if you haven't seen a reboot round, you don't want to miss out. But let's go ahead and focus on the Loot Boys, who have been very consistent throughout the day, and this would be a bad time to not bring that consistency.
I mean, they did the impossible and got a free elimination. For a trio like this early on to invade a box and do that, especially when there's 4 other teams around, I mean, that was just insane. Now they're doing their classic passive type of play, where they just observe, watch, and look at patterns for teams rotating. Jurvig based up right beside them. They might get desperate here for a fight too, so I think that the Loot Boy trio will possibly read that. At the same time, do they have what it takes to stop a big fight and not lose a body in the process? That's what I'm kind of thinking, because so far, every time they have gotten into a 3v3, Hydro might just go down completely. Might be a snipe from across the field. And now, I mean, I think this is the game of don't get in your vehicles. Everyone who's tried to has been stopped about 1 kilometer during their drive. There's no chance, and it's already gatekeeping not only the leaderboard, but the roads of Fortnite as well.
And you're seeing the supply drop being surrounded by Surprise's trio alongside Lizen here. So this could be that kind of moment to steal away those crucial eliminations, because every elimination is going to be 2 points, and that's going to be big considering how close it is. And look, right next door is the 4th place team and Pink Nebs and Stompy here. It's all coming down to it, man. We've been seeing all these rotations. We've been seeing these glides. Everything is a matter of moments, and even just a mis-edit could be something that could cost them.
You can kind of tell the difference now for everyone's game plan. It's to stop, wait, and watch. When that surge comes in, I mean, if everyone's not shooting, I guess the damage threshold overall should be slightly lower. And now we're going to tune in for a few teams to see what's up. 191 damage above for MXR, Paco, and Gray. That's thanks to the crazy damage in the fights that we saw break down early game. At the same time, some damage they had otherwise. Fly finally down to Q-Roll, who's alive in this game. Game 1 winners who need basically a Game 6 win with almost double digits. They're not going to be the center of attention. They're a possible timeline here in just a few. Surge is gone, making it, I think, the fastest we've seen this level, or at least this threshold, start and finish. It'll make everyone just move around a lot more freely in this lobby, faster than ever before. And MXR, he goes straight up this hill. Prime positioning. It'll be a huge, huge advantage compared to everyone else. It's not even their base, but they take over it. And they make sure they're ready to take even more shots, because that next surge, that one will be a huge doozy.
At 7th place right now on top of height, sending beams down to the lower part of this lobby here. You're seeing Flecken, who's in 5th place, taking some beams. And of course, you're seeing 8th place right there being affected by the pressure. And Gray's actually pick up a knock. Hey, so that this team right here that is on that threshold could qualify if they just keep up the pressure. As we're seeing Cinder and Kiko, as long as that Edison getting some beams right there. So I like this position right here. They can easily pad over down into the dockside dish, and they can kind of cap anybody who has height right here. Considering this is zone 3, I like what's happening right now for Gray, MXR, and Paco.
Tuning back in with Artie as well, or any other teams. Xenon's right there next to Loot Boy. Everyone here you see on screen is either in the top 6 or looking to get into it. It's so cool once you move past the quals. In top 3, it's so much more difficult in terms of, you know, hitting that threshold. There might be 5 or 6 teams going for it. There's 12 right now active on the leaderboard. 1 affected. That's Xenon, who got knocked and then taken out by Skal.
Holy.
All the
He's
way
doing
to
so
5th.
well.
He's doing so well today. I think this man should be the MVP. If there was one solo player, it's him.
You know, we talked about the solo battle points right there. They have the kind of the impact a player could have for the trio. We already gave you that stat flying to show you that Scala is on a whole other level today. So, hey, they could kind of be that kind of fairy tale story there for a new face into the broadcast to be able to have such a big impact that kind of echoes of previous big names like Thomas HD back in season 4.
It's also one of the first times we're seeing a team go down so early inside, you know, the people who've already qualified. Bobby, Versa, and Fly, who got taken out a few minutes ago, they ended at 133 points. That's 2nd place currently, but you know how very, very drastic things can change overall. If any of the teams we see kind of surpass 133, that's going to knock Versa, Bobby, and Fly so far down. They're praying that the threshold doesn't go up that high. Depending on who survives, I mean, anything could happen. RD, Kowalski, Belusi should be the focus for the moment. I mentioned gatekeeping the boards, the lobby. That is going to be their active tag for this entire end portion of the tournament. 117 points. I'm not sure if the elims that MXR, Gray, and Paco got are enough to match that or be ahead of it.
They're about
117 for now.
Right there. Yeah.
They're 114. Okay, so they're still lower.
There. Yeah.
Artie, Belusi, Kowalski are looking to just stay ahead. They have a position to get a few eliminations, but I don't think they'll just roll in that fast in the 4th zone. This trio is going to be kind of the the borderline. If they go down, it opens up an extra team to come in and starts that kind of, you know, domino effect. But they're going to try to just be there in 6th place.
And you saw Pink pick up a knock in the feed as well. And Pink's in 4th place. So you got 4th place, and then you have the other team that's sitting right here in Blue Sea. They're in the running. They're right next door to each other. So any knock that's happening on people that are rotating here, as Milan, I will not lose, is in trouble, gets eliminated. We'll see if that's a full trio wipe. That's 8th place. That may be out of the running here, but they could still slip out of the reboot round threshold.
I think Sanan also went down earlier, so it's just up to Quidwo from that side, and I think he also gets taken down. So that team is out 8th place from the running.
Oh,
wow,
no.
This is what you don't want to happen. It's far away, so Belusi will be able to get picked back up, but in terms of resources, that's shields you were not planning to lose at this point. That's a med kit you probably didn't want to give away that'll cost you a little bit of that heal game all the way towards the very end. It is crucial when you go to the nitty-gritty of things, Sancho, because there are so many teams who are ready to take your spot.
Yeah, Nebs just picked up another elimination in the feed. So Nebs, part of that 4th place trio, is now moving up via the elimination train.
Yeah, I'm happy for all these teams up top who are moving up the whole way. The focus, though, has to be looking at who can really hit that top 6. We can almost basically congratulate Sapphic, Default, and Putrick for the win, right? Hey, guys, good job on EU today. But it really is that 6th place spot, that threshold to see exactly who will roll through. There's Letwick, Freemock, Wolfie. Freemock traded again, but they got SD down. That's huge in the way height works in this game, in this lobby today. Mongrel and Kiko also taken down by Seston. The Loot Boy trio is upping their points. 116 for Letwick right now. What was it? 117 we saw for Artie. If they get one more elimination here, they can move forward, and they do. 118. The new 6th place trio we're watching is going to be Letwick, Wolfie, and Freemock for the moment. They're up to 121 with the big placement coming in too. And they should be the ones to hold on and keep everyone else now. It's a 1-point game, Sancho, between all these teams.
And if Mongrel's trio is fully eliminated, they did not make that reboot threshold. So Mongrel's run to return into the finals has been paused and out. But V talked about getting the eliminations via the expressway. This is what's happening right here. Letwick, Wolfies, and Freemock. Hey, out there in Germany, they have the Autobahn. So right now, Freemock and Wolfies and Letwick are on flying down that highway and pushing their way into the top 6 with authority.
See what they can do. We can always go back and check with Artie again to see if they truly have the points, or any other teams if they're getting elims in the feed. But right now, it looks like Letwick is in the lead by what would be 1 point, I would assume. Freemock, though, low on HP. Wolfie, too. I mean, he's even lower. He's got no shield available either. There is enough to pass around for the trio, but it's the time there. It's tense for everyone. 17 now. Every trio that goes down, that's huge placement for everyone as well. These guys are going to be in the driver's seat if they fall. If one wheel gets, you know, completely fused, punctured, it might be over for the trio itself.
Elims are going to be a factor here, folks, because look at the terrain. Look at this mountain. The dish is going to be able to eat up a lot of eliminations as well. So whoever has high control, it won't really matter. It's about breaking the pressure down below. And these are the box fights. This is where a lot of the work's going to be doing. Already right now, 122, just holding on but 1 point. And I think that's what you're reacting to, Shio, that 1 point.
Yeah, I see Kowalski has that elimination, so the difference maker definitely there. Launchpad 2 to be able to split. They'll have the 1 point. That's just placement coming in. It's looking good. I'm just keeping my eyes. Scowl also with an elim. He was in 5th place. So that's fine. He's above these guys. He's going to just keep moving forward and making sure he stays inside the top 6. I'm looking for anything in the feed, Sancho, that says Freemock, Letwick, that says, you know, anyone else from the bottom side there that we're watching for the moment.
I think this entire lobby has to take a sigh of relief because the zone 6 has been pulled all the way off that mountain. So that's going to leave that elimination factor, that win condition. It's game 6 right here. Top 6 get in, and let's see who's going to have that opportunity. Gray right now is going to have to hold on 126. So you talked about it, and we've been seeing so many trios already moving up the board, but Gray is going to have to solo clutch only with some hard mats. And hey, there's someone right in front of him. It's the 4th place trio here. Gray for free almost. For free almost. He almost does it. But now the lobby focus, as Pink's trio says, not so fast, my friend. You're not going to be able to get in easily. But he has to avoid the lobby focus. And that pad right there may be Gray's chance to get into the top 6.
He's trying for a 127 points. This might be enough to actually put him in the threshold to be up there right now with the elims this team has, but Fremont's also popping off in the feed. He goes down though ultimately, and the Luke boys are also separated into 2/3. Backfeed is not going to be able to play today either. 127 points for him, 127 points for Artie. It's two people operating as a duo, but Lucy barely hanging on, and Gray, he has no teammates in the way for him. He has to just do this all as a solo player.
Gray with 13 builds as Safik, Puchik, and Default could still rain terror from the high ground. They're already in. They're going to go to qualify, but let's focus on the bottom right of the screen as Gray is going to fly his way around to the front side, trying to find a spot. Only 11 builds. That's it. One more box left for him. He could just barely not even cover his top side. This is the struggle, the drama that is FNCS. Here is Storm Surge. 3 people have to go down. Gray's way above it. That's not the storyline that he had to follow as Nebs eliminates Default. So hey, Nebs, Pink, and Stompy may be contesting height at the right time.
Still 6th and 7th place alive side by side.
Oh no! Oh my!
There's a new damage, and the launch pad finds a weird way to get way through all these builds. Mustache takes out Hatem, still not super relevant. Pink and Nebs have taken over height, so it's a new person controlling the entire lobby. Still though, Gray's following, and Letwick's getting huge eliminations on the Belusi. They're taking out 6th place. Already stopped at 130 points, and Gray is still alive. How many points does Letwick have though? Does he have enough to pass by? Because they've been getting eliminations left, right, and center.
He's right there.
Right beside them on low ground too, absolutely correct. Gray's trying to survive, no builds, a big elimination coming in, but no points. It wasn't his knockdown. Still no builds. He has someone in his box, goes away for the edit on the left side, looking for anything. Here is Gray trying to survive, trying to stay in. Letwick finds another on to Zestin. This has to be Letwick now in the 6th place lead. But at the same time, Gray, he's still alive. He's trying anything right now, looking for a breath of air, a sight line, any light for anything, but he doesn't find anything just yet. Still surviving, looking for the placement. 133, it's another jump up.
Hydro right here is still in this fight too. Hydro's trio is still have the ability here as we're seeing here. 132, 133. Gray has the advantage as a solo. We're talking about the solo clutch that's going to get you into the top 6 to get you guaranteed thousands of dollars right here. Gray with only about 2 builds, but he has a mat here. Hydro now by himself as well as a solo has a chunk cannon 132. We're talking about a race for the top 6, and it's coming down to 2 solos, and definitely Gray and Hydro are neck and neck in this race.
Yep, 135 for Gray. Bobby was also at 133 when they went down, so they're being knocked out here ultimately. Yes.
Oh no.
These two solo players' survival. Now Hydro's finding one person beside his boxes. Doesn't actually.
Gray goes down.
Gray goes down. Hydro now with 136. He's looking to push his way all the way forward now. Flecking going down on the left side. Hydro hiding inside the pyramids, but this man is not looking to be safe. He's looking for aggression. One big pump. The second doesn't follow. 137 points is where he lies. Now we're looking at Malabuka, who also had a chance so far. 137 for him too. Can they clutch 6th place? It might require an extra elim or 2. They might already be there, but let's see how clean they can be in the end game. Andy diving inside the boxes. They back up slightly. Big pump from long range, and it hits. It's big damage. Malabuka on the left side. Look at these angles. Look at the plays. He's looking so good. 2 back-to-back. Remix gets paused. Malabuka, he's still playing.
Let's
boom!
go!
Another big elim to win out the final game and qualify them for the FNCS finals.
8 eliminations in the Victory Royale. It's game 6, baby. It all happens in game 6. Another trio qualifying on the broadcast with the final Victory Royale. They had enough steam to do it. Malabuka is in.
That was absolutely great, and it wasn't just them, Sancho. Every team from 6th down to 12th tried till the 9th zone to make it in. I haven't seen so many solo clutches side by side in a very long time.
It was like one person went down, another person went down, and then all of a sudden, great job. We catch another team that's in the fight, and it comes down to it. What a phenomenal end to the semifinals. And like I mentioned, it's just going to be a big course for the reboot rounds because you talked about it. All those people solo clutching, they will be in the reboot round tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see over those 4 games how it works. For me and Sancho, though, that was a big breather, so we'll take one as well. We'll toss it over to Zeke, Levin, and Reese to organize ourselves with the chaos and really see who's in the top 6.
Thank you guys so much. You're absolutely fantastic. Per usual, my goodness, these guys put a nice little bow on the competition for us. And it always be like this, man. Game number 6. You're like, we need to do everything if we want to make it through. And I'm telling you, there's always a trio that will do it. let's take a look at our top 6 trios that are going straight to finals next weekend. In first is Nebs, Ponq, and Stompy, 167 points. But Levin, there's so many more trios that are of note on this list.
I'm amazed. I'm amazed by the way we finished today. I'll be honest. Look, Pink, Nebs, and Stompy coming out and winning, stealing the win away from Suffolk, Default, and Putrick is crazy. But towards the lower half, right, the 4th, 5th, and 6th, that finish is a thing of dreams, isn't it? If you're Mustache, Malibu, and Shizo, that's what you go to bed dreaming about to happen, right? Qualifying in that kind of manner. Wow, what a day for them.
Huge, honestly huge. And they'd started so slowly, as we know, because like, you know, my prediction was picking them all the way along and I was rooting them on. And as the games are going, right, they're always sitting between that 10th up until the kind of 20, or 10th up until 20th, just throughout the majority of the day. And then that final game, picking up the big victory, 8 eliminations, 2, pushing them all the way up into top 5. That is how you hit a qualification if you've, you know, not had the best tournament so far.
Absolutely insane. And once we get to see those like final results, you'll be able to really see with your eyes how close this is. Okay, so let's take a look together. Now we know what the top 6 are, right? We've already seen them, we've already talked about them. Now let's look at step 8. 135 points for 2 separate trios. Wolfie's trio and Green's trio almost make it, right? That's a placement. That's an elimination, right? And think about it, if Wolfie's trio had even gotten 1 more elimination, they would have broken that tiebreaker, right? Because they have the Victory Royale, and that's that initial tiebreaker.
1 eliminate. That is honestly heartbreaking. That genuinely, that is heartbreaking. 1 elim is the difference between them potentially being in the FNCS final or not. Look, they will get a chance in the reboot round, but there's nothing guaranteed in the reboot round. This was their chance to guarantee it. 1 elimination was their chance to guarantee it.
And same with the Greynews team with Paco and MXR. They had a rough start, and towards, look, that clutch, let's be real, at the end of Greynew was absolutely nail-biting. I thought he had secured it once he'd got over that 135 kind of border that we've seen a lot of other regions go on to. But no, again, same thing, 1 elim, because they had more eliminations than the Loot Boys in 6, so they would have overtaken them as well. So such a shame with Bobby Versa and Fly, who popped off really, really good today, but slow get down towards the end. But if we look at the next teams, remember, it's all the way down till top like 17th. It's who's qualified through. So we see Sky, SD, Leo, Bloomy's team who started off today strong as well. As long as Lechi's team and everyone else who's 7th to 17th have made it through to the reboot round tomorrow, and they still have a final chance to make it through to the finals.
And look, some great teams representing this heat in the reboot round, most definitely. I could see a couple of these teams potentially stealing away a win in the reboot round for sure. Of course, it's not ideal, right? Because you would have wanted to do it, you know, today. But nevertheless, when you look at, for example, Sky's team, right? Sky, XD, ST, and Leo. These guys won a game today. They know they can win games in these sort of environments. And so going into the reboot round, that is a great deal of confidence. There's going to be 4 games to do it. And so that's 4 opportunities to try your best to try and make it to finals. But nevertheless, right, they're just going to have to run it back tomorrow. The victory royales on the day, right? Let's take you all the way back to game 1. Kuro, Geds, and Hizix won the first game in a surprising manner, resub, but never really did anything after that, right?
Yeah, it was a shame. They came out swaying and it looked super strong for them. But as I mentioned on the day, you know, that 50-50 drop spot they have at the Orchard Dish is just, it turned out not to be in their best favor, realistically, where after that, you know, they kind of flopped a little bit, unfortunately.
Yeah, and a team who were able to also get a victory out, but not really do anything with it. Milan, Sinan, and Kiduo. These guys in this game, you know, it was a nice win. You know, you sort of think just, oh, that could be interesting. Maybe these guys will surprise us today. There's always the surprise team, right? We always talk about that. It just wasn't them. It just wasn't them, unfortunately. But they will be playing in a reboot round, right? So there is a chance for redemption, and that confidence, knowing you have the ability to win games in these kind of lobbies, is always huge.
Yeah, and same thing with Sky, SD, and Falconly, right? Or with Leo. My memories. I know. I'm just going back to the previous seasons here. I'm on. Same thing. They pick up the Victory Royale in game number 3 and don't manage to make it. They do manage to get through to the reboot round, placing 16th overall. But this was definitely an interesting dynamic where the first 3 games, Victory Royales, all necessarily didn't reflect that on the leaderboards of the teams who were really popping off over and over. And none of these teams qualified, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that's just how it is, man. A Victory Royale just isn't everything sometimes. You know, you need more than that at times. And unfortunately for them, there wasn't more than that, especially in the case of all of those free trios in particular. Now, when it came to Letwick, Wolfie, Fremont, these guys, we talked about how close they were. And after this game, you really did think, oh yeah, they're here. They're going to turn it on now. We know how good these guys are. They've been a bit quiet so far, but now they're here, and it just wasn't that for them. Game 4, they get the win, but outside of that, they just couldn't get enough. Just the one elimination more is all they needed, but they just couldn't do it.
Devastating, honestly, for them. But Safik Putra in default, look, they turned it on all day, and here we go yet again. This match was beautiful. The Safik pop-off as a solo, picking up 5 eliminations there, which took them up to 7 total, I'm pretty sure, by this game ended, which was massive. 44-point game. And this was obviously their peak match, but let's be real, they didn't fall far from this either. The rest of their games were absolutely fantastic, and that's why they've earned themselves a qualification slot.
Yeah, no, let's be real. Yeah, I was surprised not to see them in first. Pinks and Stompy came from out of nowhere to steal first place. Nevertheless, though, you can see Mustache, Malibuka, Shizo. These guys had a absolutely phenomenal final game. Absolutely. Shy and Sancho, I told them, it was going to be a tough task. They broke it down perfectly. These guys were... Just what an ending. What an ending it was for them. Malibuka, absolute GOAT, picking up the Vic Roy for the boys in the last game to qualify them for the finals of FNCS. What a nice way. You're going to go to bed smiling. I wouldn't be able to get a smile off my face if it was me.
I mean, one of the things is Malibuka is known for being an incredible fighter. And in that final game, he clutched up the victory. I think they would have already qualified at that point. Not done the quick mental arithmetic if they'd won that 3v3 if they would have qualified or not, but he just showed the fighting prowess that he had going into that final moment. The nerves were just not there. He was cool, calm, and collected, managed to pop off, picking up 2 eliminations, and then eventually the victory royale on that as well, which was the qualification for them. So huge congratulations for them to win in the final game and push themselves through.
So good, right? We could not ask for more, but we cannot forget we have one other heat to take a look at. This we checked in at match number 3, and now we can take a look at the results, see which top 6 from there move on. Also take a look at the leaderboard to see which teams in 7th through 17th will be going to the reboot round. Now, something super interesting, looking at Amplify, Adian, and Matzo, when we checked in on game number 2, they were in 2nd, and we checked in behind the scenes after game number 5, and we noticed they were in 2nd, but Levin, they come out in 1st. It feels real good.
It's a huge performance for them, Zeke. It's an absolutely magnificent performance because this is a team who looked like they were falling off the surface of the earth, right? After the experiment with Benji Fishy went completely sour, these guys looked like it was over. Genuinely, it did look like they were over. They went back to their roots, picking up ADN again. Shout out to Aiden, man. Lovely guy. But you wouldn't have thought that they'd be in a position where they're actually going to be playing in the FNCS finals. I'll be right. I did not expect it. They've had a couple sneaky performances recently, Reese. And so you could maybe see it. You could maybe get a whiff of it. But to come out and win your heat, phenomenal stuff.
Yeah, and that's good momentum for them coming forward, right? Coming into that finals, they have that momentum coming out, but they were landing bony burbs, and we know who's landing bony burbs in the finals right now with Aqua's team. So the momentum's going to be tough. But also in that team, I want to definitely mention there was Clement's team alongside Floki Deciptos, who obviously did really well last season in the qualifiers, making their way through the finals, thinking qualifier 2 as well. But one other part about that, Clement's only missed a single FNCS finals right now, and this has solidified him yet again in another. I think we'll have to see once the whole weekend's over, but I still think Clement holds the record for the most finals in EU in particular. So that's pretty awesome. Another one on his ticked off list, which is gonna be really cool.
Yeah,
just play with Clement and secure the spot in the finals. Yeah.
That's all it takes. We have the results, and we have actually pulled the victory royales from games 4, 5, and 6. So we'll take a look at all of these things and kind of fully break down heat number 2. Now, when we're kind of looking at the results, again, we saw a similar situation here. Look at 7th and 8th, right? 1 point for 7th and 2 for 8th. So again, right, a single elimination, and Rax and company would have moved up. For Danamon, 1 elimination would have put them at least in the tiebreaker. Now, granted, these other guys, Diablo, his trail, they have more eliminations, so they would have inevitably gone through. But again, you kind of joked, Levin, these fine margin, man. Look at the numbers.
It's insane, Zeke. It's absolutely insane. And it's you just sort of walk away from it as a player, and it's hats off. It's a bit of frustration. You do start to think back at all the moments where you possibly could have got the extra point that would have pushed you over the line. Nevertheless, though, right, the reboot round is tomorrow, and there is a chance. And once again, you can see a couple of these guys have gotten victory royales, but aren't in the top 6. And so, you do sort of maybe use that as a bit of confidence. Keswick, ZQ, and Falconly not making it through in the top 6 is a bit of a surprise to me. You would have thought they'd be able to make it through, but nevertheless, they'll play in the reboot round. Let's take a look at the next page, though, Reese, right? Because there are some more teams there.
Yeah, one of the big surprises for me here was Vel, Crazy, and Stursix, since they came out so strong in the first couple of matches, but after that, seemed like yet again another mid-game issue, something that a lot of the teams have realistically been struggling with. When you look at the leaderboards and you see them being eliminated like 24th, 19th, 20th, there's something tough up in the mid game, and I think that's what a lot of these top veteran trios who's managed to qual through have absolutely nailed down. But for the teams who just made it down to this point, that's what most of them really need to work on. But as you mentioned, like, they managed to pick up a victory royale alongside Shakeos' team as well. So that's good going into tomorrow. The fact that clearly, if they get to endgame, they can do it. They can make those victory rounds. They can hopefully qualify for the finals using the reboot round tomorrow. But again, it's not the ideal situation for them to be in.
Oh, not at all. Not at all. No matter how exciting the reboot round is for us to watch, you just don't want to be in it as a player. You don't, because so much is almost out of your control in that sense. And if it goes wrong, if you end up like a Seti, Cammy, and Teak, right, a couple of seasons ago, it can be a nightmare. It can be a nightmare. But these are the victory royales from games 4, 5, and 6 we referred to. Aware and Co were able to pick up game 4, and that was sort of good for them, right? It was a good little boost. I think getting that win midway through the tourney is always a bit nice, right, Reese?
Yeah, it kind of boosts your mentality up, right? Keeps you going, especially if you had like a slower start, or if you've had a good start. Realistically, either way, it's going to boost that mentality, keep you moving on up until the last couple of games when you really need to be mentally strong, right, to keep yourself in the game. But game number 5 is Rux, Hutty, and Mini, who unfortunately, this was the team who ended up placing 7th. Devastating for them overall. It is painful, especially since they had 7 eliminations here. So they've just managed to miss out on that. Even though they picked up this victory royale, 1 more elimination throughout the rest of the day could have been the difference maker. And I'm sure there's potentially some more eliminations down here they could have gotten as well.
Oh, 100%. They will know, and that's the frustrating thing. They will know how close they were. This win was perfect because, it did sort of poise them to be able to sort of close it out. But it just wasn't meant to be. It wasn't meant to be. Now, this is the team who actually won today. They didn't win this game, but as you can see,
that this time.
Close. Yeah, I do know that this time. I'm not being played with at all. But you can see Amplify clearly ran into a bit of trouble there, and eventually he does go down. There's not much you can do there, but at the end of the day, they secured the first place, so they won't be too bothered about that. Nevertheless, though, the winner of this final game, Art Skill and his trio, they weren't able to actually, get into the top 6 either. So once again, you sort of think, yeah, it's nice that we got the win, but it didn't actually just get in top 6. So painful stuff all around, but not painful for the people that got top 6. Right?
No, I think it's been interesting actually how many games have been won out of all of the heats we've looked at. Out of teams who are not in that top 6, a lot of the regions we looked at like some of the ones earlier from Asia, OCE, we saw big amount of victory royales coming from the teams who qualified. Here, it's just I think on average, it was just 2 of the victory royales were in that top 6, and everywhere else was just outside of the qualification threshold, which is kind of crazy to see that kind of disparity. But look, you know what? We'll see if game winnings will matter tomorrow because it's the reboot round. Let's be real.
Yeah.
All bets are off. All bets are off. Tomorrow, reboot round. Guys, make sure you are here for that because it's going to be some of the hypest Fortnite action where only the victory royale matters, and those players will be pulled for the pool and grab themselves a seat on the battle bus toward finals next weekend. We love you all so much. Thanks for hanging out with us for these 6 matches and the heats as well. Please, as always, give these 2 a follow. Give Sancho West and Shy Wager a follow. We love these human beings so much. Fortnite fam, if you want more action, don't forget, we're going to NA East. Reese and I are about to board this next battle bus out. So, Reese, we got to grab the front seats. So we got to do that. I'm so sorry, Levin. I'm so sorry.
Can I come this week?
You know what? Yeah.
No.
Come with us. You can hang out in the back and you can just give me puns and I'll do those. But yeah, we're gonna go to the battle bus.
Go for that,
if you want NA East after the break. If not, we'll see you next weekend and tomorrow for more Fortnite action. We love you, and as always, we'll see you guys on that battle bus. All right, let's go to the battle bus.